And okay, we are now also live on YouTube. Okay. Let's see. What's up, chat? Make sure y'all are double tapping the screen when you hop on. Follow if you're not already following. Hold on. Connect. There we go. I think. Why is this? Okay, finally, it's working. Okay. I'd like to get some debates done. I've picked a more provocative prompt thingy. Maybe that will trigger someone enough to want to hop on, and if not, we'll cover some news, I guess. Hopefully the live is not shadow banned again 2 days in a row. That'd be kind of annoying. Make sure you guys are double tapping the screen. Only going to be on here for a couple of hours. Maybe shorter if it's like if we have no success, but AMAC, I see you in the guest requests. Did you want to debate? Hey, how old are you?
Yo, I'm 22.
And you support Trump?
Yeah, I love him.
Why is that?
People are trying to take him down with like the Jeff Epstein hoax, but like no one like cares about that guy anymore. Who cares about?
You don't care about what he did?
Like Epstein. Well, just who cares anymore? Like, just
everyone
who
seems to care. That's why it's in the news and everyone's paying attention. If no one cared, then why would the media even cover this stuff?
Well, like, just no one cares. Bro. He's gone. Like, just who cares anymore?
Trump's not gone, and if he was involved with those victims, wouldn't you want to know about it or no?
Well, I mean, like, it's his business. Like,
and wait, do you only support Trump? Well, it's not his business if he's committing crimes. It's the business of everyone if he's committing crimes.
Well, do you actually think like Jeff Epstein did any of the stuff they claimed he was doing?
Yeah, he was What do you mean? Do you think Epstein was innocent?
I don't think he was innocent, but like I think it's kind of overblown. Like,
what's overblown about the Epstein situation?
Well, like people saying there's like an island. Like no one like most of the island like most of it seems fake. Like most of the pictures seem fake. Like they seem AI.
Oh, you're trolling?
I'm not trolling.
You're not a real person.
I'm not a real person.
Yeah, you're playing a character right now. There's no way you don't care about the Epstein stuff and you think the island is AI. If you were going to troll, there was a better way to do that without giving yourself up so quickly. This is why it says above me, MAGA is finished. Trump supporters are in hiding and unable to defend him. It's because we don't get any guest requests. And honestly, it's not just me. None of the lives get guest requests because MAGA is terrified. They have nothing to say anymore. They're in hiding. And there's not many of them left in the first place. There's a reason Trump's approval rating is in the mid-30s right now. It's because the average Robin says we don't hide, but Robin's not in the guest request. Therefore, Robin is hiding. So, you do hide. They all hide. They're scared. Because they know you can't actually just debate Trump's record. Because Trump's record is abysmal. It's atrocious. It's authoritarian. It's criminal. It's inefficient. These people are like, they live in the chat. They live in the chat. They say, MAGA 2028, you stupid liberals, you suck. The Democrat Party is broken. Everyone knows that it's hilarious. These are not real people. These are bots from Chinese and Russian bot farms. None of these people have the testicular fortitude to actually request to hop on and debate any of these topics. X shot play X. I see you in the guest requests. Are you a troll? Are you, and if not, do you want to actually debate? Are you over the age of 18? Jamie, you can't talk about everyone else has a job, but you're here. You're in the chat right now. Any insult you make towards anyone else in this live would apply equally to you if you're in this live. I hate to break it to you. Hey, how old are you?
25 physically, 45 mentally.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I used to support Trump, but not anymore. Now that I see everything unfold, I think that there's definitely something wrong with the guy. And I didn't see it before.
Kamala Harris now if you could go back in time to 2024?
If I could, well, hypothetically speaking, right? If I could go back in time,
yeah,
I would definitely try to warn as many people as possible because I am in the higher ups. Like, right, men like me are not found on TikTok. We're only found at the top floor of skyscrapers.
But you're on TikTok, and I found you here on TikTok.
we're not supposed to be here. Like high quality men like me, we're found only at the top floor of skyscrapers.
So you're also
And
trolling? There's no real Trump supporters left anywhere? It's just a bunch of trolls?
No, I'm not. I'm not trolling you. Like, have you ever been to New York
Yes, I've been to New York.
and you see the skyscrapers?
No, I missed them.
Well, when you visit New
I didn't know
York,
they
there's
had
skyscrapers,
in New York.
and you wonder who's up there at the top floor. Like, I wonder what kind of man is up there. It's men like me that are up there on the top of the floors
Men
on
like you
skyscrapers.
up there on the top floor doing, what are you doing on the top floor?
We're doing like legit business deals, like multi-million-dollar business deals.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing business, working out.
Yeah.
We're eating good food. We're doing
All on the
things like
top
that, I
floor,
guess.
all in the same space.
On the top floor.
Wow.
This is where everything is found.
Did you want to debate anything, or did you just want to share with us that you have been to really tall buildings?
No, I mean I didn't mean to be flexing on you, but I was hoping to debate something.
Sure. I mean, I can show you my debate prompts we usually do. Is there anything here you disagree with me on, or no?
All right, let's take a look.
Yeah, let's.
Authoritarian. All right. Is there any other prompts?
There's 4 prompts right here, right? Can you see all 4?
Like, do you like dating advice or like? Because I have a question.
I don't. This
about-
is not a dating advice channel. I'm sorry.
But you say you seem like a good guy, like a smart man. I was hoping I could ask you a question because it's like a legit question about. It's like a controversial situation that I'm currently in, and I was hoping I could get an outsider perspective, like a third person point of view
Okay.
on the situation.
Sure.
All right. Recently met the love of my life. Like she's the strawberry to my jam. She completes who I am. Right. Like that's what I tell her every
Bars,
single
okay.
day. Strawberry to my jam. You complete who I am.
Wow.
Right. And
Yeah, write that down somewhere.
the problem is here's the dilemma. The situation is that she's an atheist and I'm Christian, and I don't know what to do because it says in the Bible that you have to be equally yoked. Right. And I'm committing a sin. Like
Yeah,
in
that's
reality,
probably not going to work out if you guys want to be together long term, right? Because as soon as you have kids and you have such major differences on religion, it's going to cause problems.
But here's the thing: is that she's the love of my life. Like, what would you do if you met the love of your life? She's absolutely perfect. Like, you guys agree on where to go out to eat. You agree on the movies. You agree on the music. Like everything else, like everything. Because I don't know if you ever dated a woman before, and like you guys are in the car, and she's listening to music that you just want to throw yourself out of the car. Like I've been in that situation, and we
This is why you never
with
give
this.
anyone else aux when you're in the car. That's how you avoid that situation.
No, but I would give her my aux.
Oh
Like,
wow, you're
I would
really
tell her
low
like
smashed
just
right now. Okay.
Well, there is no aux anymore. There's now Bluetooth. Like
True.
I let her connect to the
Wow.
Bluetooth, and
That's a real selfless
well, like she's awesome. Like I said, like she's the love of my life. But the problem is that she's atheist, and then we've talked about it. I didn't plot this. I didn't. This is not manipulation. But
Yeah.
I told her like, hey, let's just stop by church real quick so I could light a candle. But we
Okay.
walked in mass. Like we walked into mass. It was like on Sunday morning.
Mhm.
And I had plotted everything out that we were just going to attend a service, but I had told her,
What-
let me
what
just
did she
light a
think of
candle.
it?
She got really pissed off because there was like a lot of people around, right? She's like, what are you doing? Like, this doesn't
if you want to
look
discuss
like...
this topic with her, instead of ambushing her with mass at church, how about you just discuss with her, hey, we have different religious views, and let's try to
I
reconcile
believe-
that.
There are certain things that, like, I hate shopping, right? I really hate it. But
Okay.
for her, I will go to the mall
And real quick,
at,
to
at,
Charles,
at 2 o'clock.
just pause for 1 second, to Charles Holiday and the guest requests. Did you want to debate, or are you in the guest request for dating advice? Because this is not a dating advice. I'm just responding to this guy for some reason. But Charles Holiday, let me know in the chat why you want to request up, and go ahead and continue, sir.
I would go to the mall at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for her. That's what I would do. I will go through a crowd of people and I will shop for a pair of jeans and wait in line for an hour. That's what I would do. But she doesn't want to do anything that she doesn't want to do. Like as far as like when it comes to me, like why is it that when it comes to me, all of a sudden like she doesn't have the energy for any of that, like to go to church or anything like
Well,
that.
why
It's
would you
about-
expect an atheist woman to want to go to church for you?
But why would you expect a man to want to go to the mall and wait in line to shop for a pair of
because
jeans?
everyone goes to the mall, regardless of their religion. I mean, I think there's a big difference between going to the mall and joining a religion. You have to go
It's
to the
more
mall for
torturing
shopping,
to go
right?
to the mall.
Like,
Have you ever been to the mall before
I have,
at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
probably at some point, yeah.
It's torturing, isn't it? Like it's horrible.
Not if you're there to buy something and they have like a little Haagen-Dazs ice cream thing. You can make it fun.
You're not there to buy anything for yourself. You're there shopping with somebody else, and they're the
How
ones that
about
are
to make it
buying
more
things.
fun for both of you? You help her with her shopping, and then you also buy some stuff, and she can shop with you. So then it's not just like a one-sided thing.
But no, I want to go in and out. Like I don't want to stay there and
Have
hang
you ever
out.
told her
and,
this?
No, I
Have you considered that if you have so many disagreements with your significant other, one way to address that might be discussing them with your significant other instead of trying to do like spy games and manipulation stuff behind the scenes, and maybe have an honest conversation?
it sounds like a good plan. I guess it's hard to bring up something like that.
It's
Something
hard,
you
but if you care
dislike.
about this person and you want to be with them and it's that important to you, then you should just be able to say, hey, we have different views on malls and on religion. Let's try to come to a consensus.
Sounds like you've been married before, or that you're currently married.
I have not been married before. I'm 24.
What's a man like you doing single? Is what I want to know. Like, why is the dating market so horrible? Where, like,
I
guys like
don't
you
think
and
the
me.
dating market's horrible. I think if you're most men, if they know how to do it right, can find someone that's right for them. I mean, it's not easy, but
Where are you? Are you like on dating apps, or what are you doing?
I don't talk about my personal dating life on my political TikTok account. So it's not really a topic we cover on here.
It's on topic. All right.
All
All right. Well, I'm gonna go in and drop down, and hopefully there's somebody out there that wants to discuss Trump.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Hopefully we can get some debates. Hey, how old are you?
30.
And do you support Trump?
Um, I voted for him.
If you could go back in time now, knowing what you know, like, this far into his second term, would you still vote for him over Kamala Harris? Or would you change your mind now?
I'd probably still stick with my same vote.
Okay, to make this a little bit more easy, are there any prompts on the screen you disagree with right now? Above my head.
Democrats are better for the economy.
You disagree?
I raise questions about it.
Sure, raise them.
So, under the last administration that we were under, we hit all points that showed indications that we are in a recession. Just like theoretically now we're showing the same points that we're in either heading towards a recession or in a recession,
Okay.
which you could equate that to either it's a transitional period of power between different administrations or whatever. But but pointing out the whole sticking to the topic of Democrats being better for the economy,
Yeah.
like how could you say that if during the last administrations we hit all signs that this is a recession, but yet the administration is saying
The
no,
reason
this
I
is
can
a
say that
recession?
about the last administration is, I mean, number one, a lot of what happens in the economy is not because of the president. A lot of macroeconomic trends happen globally, regardless of who's the leader of a given country. The question under Joe Biden was, what legislation did he pass that affected the economy, and did that legislation have a net positive or a net negative effect on the economy? And when you look at all the legislation Biden passed, starting with the American Rescue Plan, it sped up our jobs recovery by 2 years. It brought back aggregate demand. Now, did that contribute somewhat to inflation? Yes, but most of the inflation came from supply chain issues that we saw globally. And when it comes to all of our economic metrics, America recovered to pre-COVID levels before any other G7 country across every single metric.
Yeah, but those job numbers were well, you could equate that to the whole DEI thing that Trump did when he fired all those people, but
No.
still, those
No, you
numbers
can't.
went down.
The American Rescue Plan jobs recovery has nothing to do with DEI.
No, I'm saying like after Trump got in office, those numbers went down.
Which numbers?
You said when he created those jobs, those
Yeah,
those
I'm
job
just talking
creation
about
numbers.
Biden right now, right? Under Biden's term, he signed legislation, which, remember, Biden inherited the COVID economy, and he inherited Trump's border. He inherited a lot of horrible things from Trump, and then he signs the American Rescue Plan, which sped up America's job recovery by 2 years. We were supposed to
True,
hit
but there's
pre-COVID
some-
unemployment levels in like 2023 or 2024. We hit it in 2022.
True, but there are some things from Trump's administration that he also kept that also attributed to that growth.
Like what?
The there was There was something. There were a few things from his
I mean, Trump's
administration that he
biggest
actually kept.
economic legislation was the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, which actually made inflation worse. Most economists agree that if we hadn't done a tax cut in Trump's first term, then we would not have seen as much inflation after COVID. And thank you for the pinch face, Nicole.
No, there was no. That wasn't it. It was some. I don't want to say it was a terrorist, but it was something from
Oh, Trump's tariffs
administration.
were disastrous in his first term. They're disastrous now. Their farmers are absolutely destroyed because of these tariffs, because China is not buying, their produce anymore, because we're in a trade war with a bunch of countries we don't need to be in a trade war with. Trump's been taken advantage of multiple times on these tariffs, where he goes to another country to negotiate a trade deal, and the trade deal ends up being Trump gets a shiny trinket and like a photo op and a bunch of glazing from the other world leaders and no actual material concessions. And in return, we get a tariff put on our economy, which ends up hurting us and the exporters that send their stuff here.
I'm not disagreeing with any of that.
Okay.
Like I said from before, I'm not like necessarily a supporter. I voted for him, true, but
Sure.
I understand from the standpoints of his first and second term of him running is in one way or another. One is a power move, and two is an ego thing.
What's the power? I agree everything Trump does is an ego thing, but do you think Trump is better on economic issues than Democrats?
Uh, Big picture wise, we won't know the full effects of it until later on down the road.
Sure, but we can still make claims about which party has better fiscal policy. And I just
I
think
mean, yeah, for me.
Trump's economic policy is just dog shit as far as I'm concerned. There's basically nothing
mean,
good there.
We can say that looking at it now, but from a standpoint of like later on down the road, those same policies could benefit us greatly.
I mean, you'd have to demonstrate how and why they would benefit us, because you can look at Trump's policies from his first term, and those policies, by and large, hurt the American people. And we've had a few years now to experience the effects of those. So I don't know why all of a sudden tariffs would stop being a bad thing a few years down the line, or why redistributing wealth from the poor to the wealthy would be a good thing later down the line. I mean, across the board, you're seeing working class people are losing their benefits. Their access to healthcare is going down. The wealthy are getting tax cuts, which they're not even reinvesting in productive ways. They're just using them for stock buybacks, as they did in Trump's first term as well. I mean, his tariffs have been disastrous. They've been raising prices. Even though our economy is supposed to be on a disinflation trend right now, services are going down in prices, but goods are going up in prices, specifically because of Trump's tariffs. It's been an abject failure in all regards. And that's just on the economy. I mean, we haven't even touched on authoritarianism and criminality.
I want to touch on the redistribution of wealth.
Okay.
Why would a person that's say hypothetically a person that actually worked and actually did what everything that another person didn't do to build this wealth be forced to share this wealth with other people when they didn't do anything to rightfully deserve
Because
this?
if you live in the United States, you have access to robust private property rights, a tax schedule that is actually enforced. I mean, you have roads, bridges, public schools where all of your employees are educated by the state, police that protect your factories and your businesses, which is funded by our taxpayers. If you are successful in the United States, then you owe it to the United States to share some of that success with everyone else. Because the United States, without it, you wouldn't have been as successful as you are. There's a reason people want to come here and build their business here. That's fine, but then you have to pay your fair share.
That's like saying just because my cousin is rich, I'm rich.
How is that just like saying that?
That's like just because he's rich, now he needs to share that with me. That's
No, but that's
basically what
that's
you're
your
saying.
cousin. Do you agree that when someone becomes
But
very
no,
wealthy
but
in the
you're saying
United
just
States?
because we're in the same. You're saying just because we're in the same country.
No, because the
that this
country
person-
the country provides them the ability to be that successful. Would they be that successful without private property rights enforced by the state, without employees that are educated by the state at public schools, without roads and bridges and ports to move their supply for whatever product they have? No. So they have to pay into the system.
And they do, but there are a lot of tax loopholes to where they can avoid that, and there's no way to avoid that because
Well, we
that's
can
how
raise
the
taxes
IRS
on them,
set
right?
up.
Trump cut tax rates.
You could do that, but they would still find a way to go around that.
And then you
Regardless
enforce.
how you
You
flip
enforce.
it,
I
the
mean,
IRS is still going to make it so rich
sure,
people can
I-
avoid doing it.
Sure, but again, we can increase our tax revenue by raising taxes on rich people. There's going to be some
And the
avoidance
IRS will-
always, but we can definitely increase our tax revenue by raising taxes. I know that because we
And the-
cut taxes and tax revenue went down.
And the IRS will find a way to help the rich that avoid paying those.
Well, no,
same
if you actually
taxes.
properly fund the IRS, they enforce taxes more so against wealthy people, which is why the Trump administration
enforce
has
taxes
tried to
more so on
defund
the
the
poor.
IRS.
Okay.
I mean, you can look at for every $1 additional you spend on the IRS, they bring back $9 in returns because then they actually have more employees to go after wealthier people that have these long books and all these loopholes that they do. It's not the middle class that's facing extra scrutiny when you expand the IRS. It's the wealthy, as they should, because that's where all the money is.
I think the middle class pay more taxes than anybody else, but okay.
We should cut taxes on the middle class. Kamala Harris wanted to keep tax cuts on the middle class and raise them on people making over $400,000 a year.
And they would have found a way to avoid that.
No, they wouldn't.
Like,
To
like
avoid all
one
of
key
it?
way of doing that was real estate.
To avoid all of it.
One key way of
Like some
avoiding paying
tax
high
loopholes are always going to exist, and we should try to attack those aggressively. But raising tax rates just does bring in more revenue. We've seen it happen before. And if the tax rate makes no influence on how much people are paying in taxes, then why do Republicans want to lower the tax rates?
I get where you're coming from.
Anything else? Do you agree with anything Trump's doing right now, or you'd actually defend it, or are you kind of like wishy-washy on most of it?
Like I said, it's ego with him, ego and power. Like he says, like let's make America great, but that's just like a feel good type of thing.
Ego,
when really it's
power,
just like, I'm
stupidity,
just-
cognitive decline, incompetence, a lot of things.
yeah, when it's really just like I'm just want to submit my name in world history type of thing.
Yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate you for hopping on. Let's see if we have someone in the guest request named What the Fuck Is Going On With. I don't know who that is. If you'd like to debate, let me know in the comments. Let's get this back up. Democrats are way worse for the economy. Biden is proof of that. There's no proof of that if you can't actually request to hop on and explain your position. Which I'm assuming you're not going to do, which is why I have this prompt above me. Which is that there's no one left in MAGA that's actually... I mean, what have we gotten today? We've gotten 2 trolls and 1 person who understands that Trump sucks. So... The Inflation Reduction Act is kind of all I need to say. No, it's not. The Inflation Reduction Act, which was debt neutral in the long run because it brought in more revenue, which actually finally made us competitive with China on renewable energy. It's funny, Trump always talks about China's eating our lunch. You know, one reason why China's eating our lunch is their massive public investment in renewable energy and solar, which we tried to match with the Inflation Reduction Act, and then Trump just gutted all of it. And then you have cowards in the chat saying, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but they're too scared to actually request to hop on, which again is why I'm saying MAGA is finished. Trump supporters are in hiding and they're unable to defend him. The most they'll do is comment something in the chat with no elaboration and then run away. It's not very surprising, is it? I mean, again, we can look up Trump's approval ratings. The reason there's no one in the guest request is because there's just no one who supports him in general anymore. The people that are left are either racist or authoritarian or extremely ignorant. Or they're grifters who know what they're doing. Much rather have Trump in office than Kamala. Okay, Jackson, if you'd like to request to hop on, you can do so. I doubt you're going to do that, though. Which is why, again, the prompt above me says MAGA is finished. Trump supporters are in hiding, unable to defend him. They live in the chat, not in the guest box. And can you blame them? Because it's an impossible task to defend him. Host is a laughingstock. Awesome. Actually, someone in the guest requests. Let's see. Hey, how old are you?
Man, you're really upset, eh? I'm 30.
You're 30. And do
How
you
old are you?
support Trump?
Yeah. You know what's one thing that's interesting about lives like this is not one of you can define what a woman is without including men or males.
You know what's interesting
So
to
if
me
you
is
go
that you
ahead and
constantly
give us
have
an
to bring
IQ
up the
last
topic of
one,
what is a woman, even
you
when that's
can't
not what we're
either.
talking about.
You can't either, eh? Like, I want to get a baseline of your IQ. If you want to call people stupid, let's get an idea.
I think
of,
you've
wow,
given us a baseline of your IQ by joining a live about
Yeah,
Trump's
well, I
policy
know,
and talking
by
about
asking
what
you
is a
what a
woman,
woman
and
is.
you're going to keep changing the subject. You don't want to debate the actual subject at
Can't
hand.
answer, so you mute. This is the hilarious part about you guys, is that you're mentally
Do you
ill.
have anything to
You
talk
believe
about
men
besides
give
what
birth,
is a
right?
woman?
Tell us about how men give birth.
Do you
Tell us
have
about how you
anything to
believe men
talk
give
about
birth.
besides what is a woman?
Look at him pivot.
Is
because
that your
it makes
only
him look
talking
dumb.
point? It's not a
No one
pivot. You're
takes you
pivoting.
serious.
This is the debate
No one
prompt.
takes you serious when you say men give birth.
I've never
Like,
said
what's
that.
wrong with you?
This is not the topic
Are
of
trans
discussion.
women?
This is
Are
not the
trans
topic
women
of
women?
discussion.
I'm dog walking.
How do you
buddy.
like your steak
Dog
cooked? What's your
walking
favorite
dumb
soda?
Ideology. Because you want
We
to
can bring up random topics. What's your favorite TV show? What's your favorite soft drink? What's your favorite steak
You're
doneness?
muting. You're mad. Don't be mad. Just answer the question. Why can't you define
Why are you
what
running?
a woman is without including men or males?
Why are you running?
You're pivoting so hard. It's
I'm
great.
not
I love
pivoting.
it. I'm
This is the
recording this,
topic.
by the
You're
way.
pivoting. This
I'm
is the
recording
topic.
This, by the way.
That's awesome.
I'm
It's
seeing
embarrassing
how many
for you.
times you will pivot from answering what a woman
You're
is.
pivoting. This is the debate topic.
Again, he does it again.
Yes,
Go
he
ahead.
does. You
Define
keep
what a
pivoting.
woman is
This is the
without
debate
including
topic.
men
I don't know how many
or
times I have to say
males.
that for you.
That's 9 pivots we have written down here. Can you do it again?
You joined the
Define
live
what
with a
woman
pivot.
is without including men
You're
or
running.
males.
You're scared.
Go
You
ahead,
have
buddy.
nothing to say in defense of
you
Trump.
have no idea.
You have
no
nothing to
idea
say
what
in
a woman
defense of
is.
Trump.
You think trans women are women, right?
You have nothing to say in defense of Trump. You have one
you
talking
are
point.
absolutely in cope mode right now, my
You've
friend.
been
You are just
recycling the
trying
same
to
talking
survive.
point for how many
You
years
are
now?
trying to survive.
You've been
Define what a
recycling
woman
the
is.
same talking point for how many
Define
years
what a
now?
woman is.
This is
Define
all.
what a woman
This
is.
is all they have,
How
guys.
dumb do you look right now?
This is
I
all
love
MAGA
it.
has left is what is a woman. They can't
love
talk
it.
about the American
Define
people.
what a
They
woman
can't talk about tax policy, corruption,
gets
criminality. They have nothing.
Oh, he's so mad. He can't define
They have
a woman.
nothing.
Like, what's your IQ?
They have
to
nothing.
To have really room temperature IQ like you and try to call people stupid.
They have
It's
nothing left.
hilarious.
See? They're
It's
desperate.
hilarious.
All they have is what is a
You're
woman.
literally up here trying to make fun of people and stuff, and you don't know what a woman is.
I'm
dude.
not trying.
You
I
are-
am making
you
fun
are
of you.
deflecting
I am making
so
fun of you.
hard from what a woman is. It's hilarious.
You
All
can't start a
guys are the same.
conversation with a deflection
You
and
are
then
so
you
com-
can't start a conversation with a deflection and then say I'm
so hard.
deflecting. You can't do that.
What a woman is.
Do you have
You
anything
can't.
else?
It makes you look bad when you answer, right?
That's
no
all
one
you
takes
have.
you serious.
That's all you have. That's all
You
you
said
have.
men give
That's all-
birth. You said men give birth.
That's all you have, right? And nothing
You
else.
believe the earth is round?
You have nothing
Is
else
the earth
for us.
round or flat to you? Is the earth round or flat?
Guys, notice how he's not
Come on,
addressing the prompts. He has
Republican.
nothing
You want to make
else.
fun of people? I'm trying to get an idea what you believe.
I am making fun
Is
of
he-
you
is
for
the earth
running.
round?
You're running.
Is the art? Oh, you've pivoted 11 times so far.
You're
11
running.
times we have written down that you've pivoted from answering what a woman is.
You're running.
You won't answer. You just
running.
go ahead and say
You
run.
join a live
It's
about Trump's
amazing.
policy, and then
The
you talk about
coping
what is a woman.
mechanism- The coping mechanisms you're using are amazing. That's
agree.
12 times now.
Yep.
Define what a woman is without including men or
You
males.
have one talking
Don't look
point
stupid.
and nothing
Don't
else.
look stupid.
You
so
have
you
one
refuse
talking
to answer.
point
You
and
can't
nothing
answer.
else.
He can't answer, chat.
You
It's
can't answer the
hilarious.
actual live you
He
joined.
can't answer, chat. That's 13 pivots from answering what a woman is. This man wants to call people stupid, but yet has no idea what a woman is.
Because you are stupid. Because you don't want to actually debate the topics at hand. I mean, this proves my point. MAGA has nothing left. They have nothing left. All they can resort to is what is a woman. He didn't say anything in defense of Trump. Because there's nothing. And he's self-soothing in the comments. Win. Yes. Good job. Good job. He has nothing. None of these people have anything. Some do too. I see you in the guest requests. Did you want to debate Trump? Or are you just going to desperately cling on to some talking point that's like 7 years old at this point? A woman is something that will never touch him. True. We got a good definition from the chat. The host is mad. Do you guys notice how all MAGA has at this point is trigger the libs? What is a woman? Trigger the libs. What is a woman? It's like clockwork. It's all they have left. Trigger the libs. Did you see how triggered the libs were when Donald Trump destroyed the United States? They were so triggered. What's a woman lib? It's like we could have Donald Trump could literally what did he say in that one speech? Donald Trump could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue, and you could ask a Trump supporter, "Do you defend what Trump did here?" What's a woman, liberal? What's a woman? Are you capable of talking about anything else? Hey, how old are you?
I am 26.
And do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Do you disagree with any of the prompts above me right now?
Yeah, mass deportations. Hold on, I'm laying down.
Sure.
Mass deportations are dangerous, inhumane, and wasteful.
Yes.
I disagree.
Why is that?
I actually believe mass deportations are needed.
Okay.
I believe there are too many foreign-born individuals in the United States. I
Foreign-born or
believe it
undocumented?
is both undocumented and foreign-born. I believe it is driving the wages down.
That's not
It's
true.
self-evident
No.
when it comes to housing prices and wages, along with the graphs when it comes to increases
We can discuss
per
wages
capita
first.
of immigration.
We can go
But yeah,
point
we
by
can
point.
discuss.
What's your understanding of why undocumented people are going to lower wages? I know the argument, but I want to hear it.
Well, if you know the argument, why do you want to hear it again?
Because I want to be sure
That's
that you know
just
the
a way
argument.
to. That's just a way to grandstand. But okay,
No, I don't want to straw man you. I'm giving you the floor to make your argument.
very funny.
not
But
meant to
I
be
will
funny.
make this.
Sure.
Okay, hold your horses, buddy.
I'm holding them.
I will make the argument.
Okay.
So when you have foreign-born individuals who
Mm-hmm.
come to the United States illegally and do not have documentation, it is harder for them to get a job. Therefore, they will be taking smaller wages, or they will be going on somewhat documented jobs like gig work, where they make very little money compared to their counterparts.
Okay. Oh, you're done?
Yeah,
Okay, so do you
That's-
agree that
that's
when
with the long
undocumented people come
pause.
into the country, the aggregate demand goes up?
the aggregate demand of products.
Yeah, in the United States, like when more people are here, aggregate demand goes up, right?
Yes,
And
but
you
that's
understand
also
that puts
supplemented.
upward pressure on wages and increases hiring?
Yes, but if you're hiring low-wage individuals, you're basically messing with the supply and demand function.
Only if they're competing with natural-born or native-born Americans for those jobs, right? But when you see, especially in
Yeah,
places like
absolutely.
farming, when you see, especially in places like farming, when you remove them from the labor pool, there's not a long line of American-born people that want to work in those jobs. Now, I agree with you; they work under
It's
the table
because they don't
oftentimes.
want to work for wages.
Hold on. This is why people like
below
me want to give them
the living
documentation.
standard.
This is why people like me want to give them documentation, so they're getting paid at least minimum wage, right? So they're not undercutting wages, which is why you
So
want to
you,
have them
you
be
actually,
documented.
so you're saying you actually want them to replace Americans for those jobs.
No,
That's literally what
that's
you
not how
said.
that works. They don't replace. They work complementary positions oftentimes. Most economic analyses
You
show.
said you would like them to get, documentation.
Yep. So they get
Right.
paid minimum wage at least.
Okay, and then who is going to be working those jobs? Not them.
Depends on the
They're
sector.
going to bring in more, they're going to bring in more immigrants to work that job for a lower wage.
Well,
Again,
no, I'm
it
saying
messes with the
minimum wage. They
supply
should be
and
paid at least
demand.
minimum wage. They shouldn't be paid below the table.
Well, they are getting paid below the table, and
Right.
even
And
if
if
you
we
do
document them, they
implement
won't
that,
be, right?
no, even if you do implement that, they will still
They'll choose to be
bring in
undocumented.
individuals to get paid below the table. It's not them that choose to get undocumented. It's the supply and demand factor. You have, let's say, a company that's only willing to pay their employees $5 an hour. So the people that they originally hired get documented. Who are they going to hire again? People who want to work for $5
That
an
company
hour.
will probably automate in that situation.
Oh, so now we're just going to automation now.
I'm just
Because
answering
you
your
can't
hypothetical. I'm just answering your
actually-
hypothetical.
Well, this isn't a hypothetical. This is an actual. This happens all the time.
I mean, you're speaking in generalities. You want to talk about construction work, farming, like which specific sector are you talking about? Because most economic analyses show that the impact of undocumented people varies based on the sector of the economy. The argument that I'm making is that on a net basis, they're net positive for the economy.
Dealer's choice. Pick one.
Pick one what?
You literally just said
Pick a sector?
industry. Yeah.
I think it's a mistake to hyper-focus on one sector. That's why I just said on a net basis, they're a positive.
That's what I was talking about on a net basis. Then you said,
No, but then you
okay,
brought up
let's
a very
talk about a
specific hypothetical
specific
example
sector.
of someone who wants to get paid $5 or wants to pay their employees $5 an hour. That's illegal. That person should not be rewarded for violating like basic labor laws. I think everyone should be paid at least minimum wage.
So when Amazon, right,
Mm-hmm.
hire abroad for tech support,
Mm-hmm.
why aren't they
That's
punished?
a different topic. That's outsourcing.
Yeah, that's because companies and large multinational corporations, small businesses, etc.,
Mm-hmm.
go through loopholes They've been doing it since the beginning of time.
Right, and as someone who's a progressive, I want to close as many of those loopholes as possible and raise labor standards and strengthen unions, right?
Great. That being said, you guys never do that.
Biden was the most pro-union president in modern American history.
Great.
So he did do
We
that?
still have the same issues that you're talking about.
Which issue specifically?
The one that I came up on. Mass deportations are dangerous, inhumane, and wasteful.
You want to go point by point there? You disagree that they're dangerous?
Yes. No, I agree. Wait. Yeah, I disagree that they're dangerous.
Okay. Is it not dangerous to reallocate FBI agents, DEA agents, people that actually do important work fighting trafficking and terrorism, and sending them instead to enforce immigration law against non-criminal migrants?
No, because you passed a bill to fund those agencies to expand them.
Okay, that doesn't respond to what I just said.
Yes, it does. If you hire
Thousands
more
of
people, you
FBI
can.
agents, DEA agents, I believe a quarter of DEA agents have been reassigned to immigration enforcement. U.S. Marshals as well. These are people who are typically investigating trafficking and terrorism who have been reassigned to go after non-criminal migrants. Doesn't that make us less safe when important law enforcement are being reassigned to less important tasks?
One, it's not a less important task because of your opinion.
Well, hold on.
And
Can you just
two,
clarify? Do you think that
yes,
immigration
can I
enforcement
finish
is
my
more
point?
important than fighting
Can I
terrorism?
finish my point?
I want to
Can
clarify
finish
your
my
point.
Can I finish my point? Thank you
clarify it.
Can I finish my point? Thank you very much.
I'll write it down then if you're going to move on.
Two, when you have more federal spending into those agencies and they're hiring more individuals, those jobs get replaced. They're able to fill those jobs. So when you have 1/4 of the DEA going into ICE, guess who's refilling those jobs? People who are hired. It's simple economics. I'm hiring. Okay, I would like a job. Okay,
You're wrong.
this
The
guy
Big
is going to
Beautiful Bill
move
cut
on
funding for
into
a lot of
the
those agencies.
into a division. Okay, then why are they hiring so much?
Where are they hiring?
ICE.
Oh, you're talking
Other
about ICE now. Wait, hold on. I never got a response
Other
to what I
federal
said. You said let me
agencies.
finish, but then you didn't respond.
Because you asked another question on top of
It's
your
the same
original
question, right? I'm talking about law enforcement, federal law enforcement like FBI agents, DEA agents, U.S. Marshals being reassigned to immigration enforcement, and I think that's makes us more less safe because instead of going after trafficking and terrorism, they're going after immigration enforcement. Which I asked you again: do you think that enforcing immigration law is more important than enforcing, anti-trafficking law, anti-terrorism law?
That's not what I asked, but no, I don't.
You don't think that. So you agree that when you're in a hypothetical situation where you have an
Sorry,
opportunity
that's
cost
not what
between
you
those
asked.
two, it is.
See,
That's
no,
why I said they're
actually
dangerous.
clarify my points. You just like to pivot like the other guy said.
No, I'm
but I'm not going to
sticking on the
scream like
mass
a drunkard.
deportations are dangerous. I want to go in order. I'm not pivoting. Same point. I'm explaining why they're
Yeah.
dangerous.
You're explaining why they're dangerous
Mm-hmm.
because a government agency, ICE, is getting funding.
That's not what I said.
And that's why it's expanding.
That's not even
and
my
then
argument.
You're saying, oh, federal government employees are now going over to ICE because of benefits. And I'm saying, hey, other individuals take those positions. And you're just saying, no.
Well, you'd have
I don't
to
like that
actually,
counter argument.
You'd have to actually demonstrate that that's the case because the Big Beautiful Bill cut funding for things like the FBI.
Didn't they spend like $40 billion
You're not addressing what I'm saying.
for ICE? Yeah, I am. You just can't put one and one together. And it's very frustrating.
What even is the argument I'm making that you're responding to? Because either you're being bad faith or
Economics.
you're not understanding what I'm saying.
You're saying that, is going after illegal immigration that important? And is it more important than these other issues? And I said the other issues are more important, but they're still getting filled in by federal positions.
No, their funding is being cut. That's just an objective fact. You can look it up. The Big Beautiful Bill cut the FBI's budget. And it gave ICE such a big budget that it has a bigger budget than most militaries of most countries. Only the U.S. and China can do it.
calling me. Great.
So can you
I have
address
to
that
go to
point?
a bar. Yeah, what's your point? But I have to go to a bar.
Why are they defunding
What's the
things like
point
the
here?
FBI and reallocating all resources to non-criminal immigration enforcement?
Non-criminal immigration. So if you come here illegally, is that not a crime?
ICE does not classify those people as criminal migrants. I'm just using ICE's own classification system. There's three. There's people with pending criminal charges, prior convictions, and no criminal record.
If you come through the port of entry, that's legal. If you don't, it's illegal. I shouldn't be having to tell you this. I have to go to a bar. Goodbye.
Yeah. I don't think he knows how to leave. I'd love to get a response one day to my arguments. Mighty convenient how he just all of a sudden had to go to a bar. It happens to the best of us, I guess. Yeah, I mean, again, this is why MAGA is finished. Their supporters are in hiding. Their supporters are going to bars because they're unable to defend him, right? Again, these people talk about law and order. We want law and order in this country. Then why are you cutting the FBI budget and then expanding the ICE budget? I thought we're going after dangerous criminals, but you're actually letting dangerous criminals off the hook to prioritize non-criminal migrants. Does it make sense to anyone here to take an FBI agent who's investigating a drug trafficking case and tell them, no, drop that drug trafficking case. Instead, what you have to do is go to immigration court and harass documented asylum seekers. Yeah, that'll make us safer, for sure. Someone was asking, how do I join? There should be a little guest request button at the bottom with like a little pink person, a little blue person. But I mean, it gets to I didn't expect to get any debates today. We got one and the guy ran. So if you guys do enjoy debates, tune in tomorrow on Gabble, by the way, at 6 p.m. Download Gabble on the App Store. It's kind of like Omegle for debates. Very fun app. I'm going to be debating some Canadian conservative dude named Nico Lagan at 6 p.m. on there. Should be fun. Tune in at 6 p.m. It's only on the App Store, so if you have an Android phone, sorry. Sucks for you. But concepts of debate seems to be the theme today. I guess maybe we can just cover some of the recent news. I'm not surprised that we have absolutely no one who actually has the testicular fortitude to debate. 6 p.m. where? On Gabble. Go on the App Store, download Gabble. Gabble. It's like Omegle for debates. You can pick a topic and they match you with a random person. You have like a time debate thing. I'm working with the Gabble guys. They've paired me up with a conservative guy. We're doing a few debates on there. On the topics are like, has MAGA been positive for the United States? And then I think one of them is about foreign aid to Ukraine. Stuff like that should be fun. Sayed Abed 766 in the guest request. Yes, Eastern Time. 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Gabble on the App Store. Sayed Abed 766. Did you want to debate me? Did you want to debate? I can show you the prompts up above. I have to put this one up first to try to trigger the MAGA people, but even that doesn't work, does it? So Sayed Abed, you can let me know if you wanted to debate. If not, I'm gonna hop off debates, and I guess we're gonna go over some of the recent news. It's so sad how these people were such loudmouths in election season. Like, oh yeah, Comrade Kamala, Trump equals low prices, Kamala equals high price. They were so full of themselves. They were so excited when Trump won. This is a mandate. We've won for 1,000,000 years, and they're nowhere to be seen. Do you need like a username to find you on there? No, you can hop on. You'll find it. You'll see me. If you hop on at 6 p.m., we're going to be doing kind of like a main event thing. I guess we can go over the news. But, oh yeah, did you guys see that our free speech president tried to censor a story? What happened there, guys? I thought he was the free speech president. Why is he censoring 60 Minutes stories? Huh.
Well, new this morning, some CBS News employees are threatening to quit amid fears of corporate censorship. That's after the network abruptly pulled a 60 Minutes investigation hours before it was set to air last night.
Huh.
The segment would have brought viewers the stories of Venezuelan deportees sent to El Salvador's notorious prison. CBS says that it was still going to air it, but that it needs more reporting. Let's go.
CBS and 60 Minutes are under the thumb of Trump now, which became extremely clear after Trump's 60 Minutes interview, where he was given the most softball interview I've ever seen. I am still doing debates, it's just that no one wants to debate. That's the issue. I'll do debate. Does anyone want to debate? I can switch back to my debate scene. I don't think it's going to give me any... There's one guy in the guest request who's not answering why he's in there, so I'm not going to let him up until he answers in the chat. Anyone? Otherwise, we're going to switch back to covering the news. If you guys are enjoying the live, by the way, make sure you're double tapping the screen, following up above if you're not already following. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal are in the link tree in my bio, and I'm also live on YouTube right now if you want to watch this in full screen. Who's the guy in the... Okay, we got a TikTok profile in the guest request. I think this is someone who wanted to debate. Right? Okay. Hey, how old are you?
Hey, what's up? We already had this debate a few days ago. I don't know whether you want to have it again.
What was the debate about?
Yeah, just random stuff. Why am I supporting Trump as an
You do support
immigrant?
Trump.
I'm still waiting on my green card. So yeah, if I would have been a citizen, I would support Trump still,
Why?
even though I see what's going on. Remember, I asked you like, is your name Adam or Adam? Then you said if you're a Desi, you can call me Adam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to recall you like we had a
Sure, yeah,
debate.
I think I remember that. Why do you support Trump?
Okay, so first of all, I can question most of his execution points, like how he's executing some of this stuff. But as an immigrant, the people, like when I wasn't in the US, I was looking at the US as the, best place, as a heaven and all that.
Not
Because
anymore.
I haven't. I have questions. I have questioned most of the things, but when I came to the US, I only see Republicans are working on real issues.
No, they're not.
Like, I mean, like how can you deny the fact like last government couldn't control the borders really well? Like they completely failed.
Well,
They
you
had
know that
open
Biden
borders.
inherited that quote-unquote border crisis from Donald Trump's first term, right?
But if I look at the numbers, I was just looking at the numbers. It was a graph.
Yep.
I couldn't name the exact source, but if you Google, it'll come up.
Yep.
Like I was looking at the graph. Like it went down, but then in Biden era, it went way too up, and
Yeah,
now it's
so this
coming
is
down.
actually, I know the graph you're talking about. There's a graph that Trump always shows at his rallies, the immigration graph. And you see a little thing
No,
that
no, no,
says
no.
Trump leaves office and the numbers skyrocket. The numbers at the border started skyrocketing in April of 2020. Trump was president until January of 2021. Biden inherited that from him.
I didn't look at the graph you are mentioning. I just Google and whatever the first or second links pop up, I just click it, and most
Sure.
of them shows the same. The reason why I support Trump on immigration or border policy, because I followed all the rules. I went in my home country
Well,
for a
the
visa
Trump
interview.
administration doesn't even care if you follow all the rules. They've been targeting green card holders. They're now planning to start denaturalizing citizens as well.
They are doing that because there have been many people who got the green card through fraudulent process.
No,
Yeah,
not the
yeah,
people
many
they're
people.
targeting. Mahmoud Khalil didn't do fraud.
I think he was doing that really, I mean, he was like they were trying to show him as a threat to the US.
He
I
wasn't.
know he was doing what. I mean, he was in the march of Palestine and whatever
Yep,
the
and he
issue was
peacefully
going on.
protested as he has a First Amendment
Yeah,
right
I
to do.
mean, I can say like they went wrong over there,
But
but
that's not a little thing, right? I mean, you said America always seemed to you like this country of freedom. One of our core freedoms is freedom of speech, and the Trump administration has
exactly.
systematically attacked
But
freedom of
don't you
speech.
see, like people abuse that as well? Even though I'm not a citizen yet, it is so painful when I see like Americans burning their American flag. Like in
But
my
that's our right to
country,
do that if they want
I'm
to.
Pakistani. I'm Pakistani. I
Okay?
can't even speak like literally anything against my government. I will be executed. Even my profile name is not my exact name, because if they find out, they can hurt my family in my home
Sure,
country
and
as
you don't
well.
want America to become like that, right?
Exactly, I don't want, but
And
then
Donald
people
Trump
are
is someone
abused.
who has systematically attacked people's First Amendment free speech rights. No
But
Democrat
I
has done
think,
that.
but I think they are doing that because people are abusing the freedom of speech,
There's
and
no
I,
such.
I
I mean, you can do anything you want with your rights. The whole point of the
but
First
burning the
Amendment.
American flag. I
Yes,
mean, are you
that's the
serious?
most American thing you can do probably is to burn the American
But
flag.
that's wrong. I mean, that's it's. I mean, it's unethical. It's your
Well,
country.
that can be your opinion. I personally wouldn't
May I
burn
know?
the
May I
American
know
flag,
who?
but you have a right to do that.
Can let me ask you, and if you can't answer, that's fine. Did your parents immigrated from some other country to the U.S. or
Yeah,
you immigrated?
my parents.
Okay. Okay, so they might know it, like how grateful we are,
I'm grateful
to
as
the
well, and
U.S.
that's why I'm so worried about someone like Trump who wants to destroy our Constitution, because the American Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the freedoms that gives us, the civil liberties that gives us, say government cannot abuse you, government cannot make you stop talking, government cannot tell you what to think or what to say. That's what makes America great to me, and that's what Trump is attacking.
But you guys did the biggest, rally of the king something. There was a,
7 million people.
no one, yeah, no one, went against you or arrested you. That's the freedom we are talking about. The point I was making is like when I came to the US and looked at the freedom you guys have, and you guys are abusing it by burning the flag. And mostly, people who came from, third developed country like Mexico, they're still waving the Mexico flag. I mean, you guys are not grateful about.
What do you mean that
There are
people are
many things that are
abusing their
wrong.
free speech? It doesn't matter what you do with your free speech. The whole point of a right is that it's not conditional.
I just find it, those people abusing it. I mean, there should be clause like there should be freedom, but
Do you think it should be
there
illegal
should
to
be.
burn the American flag? Someone should go to jail
It's
for that?
unethical. It's unethical, illegal. I think then it will go against the Constitution because it's a
Does it
Constitution,
have
First
to be
Amendment right.
unethical? What if you're trying to protest that America is being burned by Donald Trump and it's meant to be like some kind of artistic expression? I mean, why is it unethical?
I mean, you're burning the flag of a country who is giving, because I see America is such a great country because the country I've come from, they literally have nothing. I can't speak over there openly.
I understand.
can't.
I agree. I've been to Pakistan. But
That's
like,
why when I see people, America, like you guys have a water, electricity all the time. We didn't have electricity all the time, water all the, and American local won't understand it. Your parents, and you might understand because your parents might have told you the life we live over
and
there.
I've been to Pakistan a few times as well. So like, I've seen it. I understand what you're saying. But like,
So
okay, so you
just look
think.
at from that point of view. It's so hurtful when I see locals doing that because they don't
Okay,
realize
so let
how
me just
grateful
understand
they
your
are.
point. You're saying that burning the American flag is unethical because it disrespects America and America's a great country, right?
Yes.
What about everything that Donald Trump does to disrespect America? That is way worse than burning the American flag, like desecrating our
said in-
Constitution, like calling to destroy our Constitution, like calling for the death of his political opponents. You know very well in Pakistan that whoever's in charge, if they don't like their political opposition, they can lock them up, right? You don't want to see
Yes,
that in America. Trump is trying to
No.
lock up and kill his political opponents in America. That's what you fled from in Pakistan. So why do we want that in
So
America?
that's what I said. I question his most of his execution, like how he is
So then why not vote for
executing
Kamala
most of
Harris?
the.
I mean, I understand you can't vote right now, but
Um,
if you could, why not vote for Kamala
okay.
Harris instead?
As a Pakistani, the things he was talking about first was, abortion thing. Like you look at from the religious point of view that we come from, that's wrong that she's
In
trying to
Islam?
promote. Yeah, like
Abortion is permitted in Islam up until I think like 13 weeks,
but
and the vast majority
why?
take place within that time span.
Okay, why do they, okay, let me frame it in a better way because English is not my first language, so I'm trying to frame it in a better way.
Okay.
Like how people come into that situation where they have to, they get into some activities, right? Which
Yeah.
is forbidden before, marriage, right?
Yeah, but this is a free country; they can do that.
I'm not questioning that, but I think if you how do I say it? I just want them to not do it because it's wrong. I mean, just do it after the marriage.
You're saying that if someone gets pregnant by accident, they still engage in the behavior, so they have to face the consequences.
I feel like
Is that your
abortion-
argument?
Let me explain and say it in better way.
Okay.
I'm saying abortion should be illegal except if it endangers it, which will go against what Trump is doing. If it against women's health,
Sure. What if it's not? What if a woman just says, "I accidentally got pregnant. I don't want to keep this baby. I want to get an
I
abortion."
find it wrong. I find it ethically
But
wrong.
here's
I
the great thing
find
about
it morally
America.
wrong. I
Here's
find
the
it
great thing about
religiously
America.
wrong.
No one's forcing you to get an abortion. No one's forcing your wife to get an abortion. If someone else that you don't even know wants to get an abortion, that's their right. It shouldn't be illegal. They shouldn't go to jail for that.
Maybe the way I've been brought up, the moral thought is in me, the religious thought in me.
That's fine, and that's why America is great. America is a pluralistic society. It's a diverse society. You can personally be socially conservative. Someone else can personally be socially liberal or socially progressive, and we can all live in the same society. It becomes a problem when the socially conservative people start trying to legislate their morality and telling other people how to live their life. That's un-American.
What I've been taught, like to get into those stuff when you guys are married and do it for if you wanted to grow your family. Over here, what I've seen is people are just doing it for pleasure, which I also find it wrong. It's un-American or what? But
But
how do I explain that to an American?
But here's the
Because
thing. Do you think someone else can do something that you personally think is wrong, but they should still be allowed to do it because of freedom?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Do you believe you have certain morals, right? You have certain values, a certain way you were raised, right? If
Yes.
someone else has different morals or different values, even if you might personally disapprove, shouldn't they have the freedom to do what they want to do?
Yeah, that's what First Amendment is.
Exactly. So if someone else wants to engage in sex for pleasure, or if someone else wants to burn the American flag, they should have the right to do that. And then you should have the right to say, I don't want to burn the American flag. I don't want to get an abortion. Sure, that's
But
your life.
why
That's
don't-
their life.
But why don't okay, they are burning the American flag because they are not liking what's going on, but they should do it respectfully. I mean,
I mean, they
burning the flag is not a solution. Okay, tell
hold on.
me if I burn a flag.
Being disrespectful should never be illegal.
So, okay. Yeah, I mean, the point I was making is it's not, it's just unethical. I'm not saying it's, it should be illegal,
Sure.
but it's
Kamala
unethical.
Harris was not running on a platform of I think you should get an abortion, I'm pro-abortion. She's pro-choice. Pro-choice is not pro-abortion. Pro-choice means if you get pregnant, you can choose to keep it or you can choose to get an abortion, and that's a decision between you, your family, your friends, and your doctor, not the state, not the government. Not men with guns barging into the hospital telling you you are not allowed to do this. That is un-American, right? So I'm going to ask you again, I understand you didn't vote, but if you could vote in November, why would you not vote for Kamala Harris over Donald Trump? When she cares more about the average person in terms of economic policy, in terms of social policy, she believes in freedom of speech.
I gave you one point was that was the pro-abortion, and the second point was she was trying to focus on gender, which is so basic. I mean, they're trying to
Kamala Harris
focus
didn't
on
focus on gender. She ran a campaign on economic issues.
the blue side is mostly focusing on that.
I actually
I haven't
disagree.
read-
I just want to bring this up. Like, the people that talk about transgender individuals the most are American conservatives. They insert them into every single conversation and act like this is like some kind of epidemic in the country, when in reality, all the blue side or the liberal side is saying is that if someone is transgender, they shouldn't be bullied. They should be allowed to live their life and be accepted in society and not face persecution or social stigma for that, right? And Republicans are the ones who are so obsessed with constantly shaming these people and pointing them out in every single conversation and making everything about them. We would want to focus on economic policies, giving more people health care, raising wages.
yeah,
important stuff.
It was shocking to me when I moved to the US. Like, you guys have the shittiest healthcare compared to my home country. I feel like my home country is better than what America has.
Right, and the
That
number
was the
one cause
shocking
of
for me.
bankruptcy in the United States is healthcare costs.
Coming to the point, like how I was looking at it, the gay rights, the LGBT rights.
That's all good stuff.
I just feel like we have divided it into so many rights that human right had become a weak point. We all
The
are
issue
humans.
is a
That's
lot of
where-
people on the right, they treat gay people and trans people like they're not human.
So that's where, we should work on more how to make it better human rights rather than, dividing into LGBT
You
rights.
agree that we shouldn't be bullying anyone for the way they choose to
Yes,
dress or the way
yes,
they
no,
choose to
no
talk or the
one should be
person they choose to
bullied.
or don't choose, but the person they love.
Yeah, no one should be bullied on how they
That's what
speak,
progressives
how
argue.
they
Progressives are not.
dress up.
That's what progressives argue. I'm not arguing that you have to be gay, you have to be trans. Just
But
if
don't,
someone else is gay and
I've
someone else
seen
is
many
trans, don't be
people.
mean to them. That's all we're saying.
Because this thing was new to me when I came to the US. I've been corrected so many times, like I'm not he or she. Please, address me as they them, and I was shocked. Like, what are you talking about? Like think from my perspective.
I'm sure it's
If
a culture.
someone,
Wait, but you're from Pakistan, though, right?
yeah, but we
There
don't
are
say
so
like,
many trans people on the street in
but we don't
Pakistan.
address them as they them. Like if someone is looking like a female, we will address them as she her. Like they them is not a concept over there, and people are forcing
No one's
not
forcing anything. People just say, "Hey,
I,
I'd appreciate if you use this pronoun for me." You can be mean and say, "I don't want to do that." Actually, I guess it's free speech and all. But like again, this just goes back to like, why does it matter if you call someone they them? I mean, that's something you use oftentimes for people, even before this like movement of pronouns or whatever. Using they them to refer to someone
to
is
be
not
honest,
that
I
new.
just found it stupidity. Like if someone is okay, they have changed their gender, they are dressing up as female, even though they
Here's
are
my
male.
issue with
I will
bringing this
address
up,
them
though.
she her, but not they
Here's
them.
my issue with bringing this up, though. We live in a country where the number one cause of bankruptcy is medical bills, where our education system is crumbling, our infrastructure is crumbling, we have no proper renewable energy investment, our government is corrupt and criminal, and why would we be focusing on someone said, "I want to be called they, them"? That's not a priority for me. It's not on the list of issues affecting America, and this is why I don't like.
Exactly.
This is why I don't
I,
like Donald Trump. Is all he ever wants to talk about is pronouns and burning the American flag. When there are people who are going into debt because they can't afford chemotherapy.
That's a good point. That's where I want them to focus as well. But I've been to other states as well. Like, for example, if I give you an example of California,
Hmm.
that's where I've seen, they'll name the street as, the LGBT streets or something like that. They'll name something.
Really?
There will be streets, colored with, rainbow colors. And the Pride Month is the most, idiot thing I've seen in the America. I mean, we all are humans. Just celebrate being humans
Well, hold
and
on. The
promote that.
reason that there's Pride Month is a lot of people who are gay for decades and decades had to live in the closet and hide who they are. So now we're just saying that hey, you can be proud of who you are. You don't need to be ashamed of who you are and face constant social stigma and hatred from random strangers. That's all this is. It's inclusivity. Treat everyone the same. It's the American conservatives who want to treat people differently based on how they look, not the progressives.
So how the Pride Month is helping them? Like they have social media now. They can come out of closet. They have so
It's
much
just something fun
support.
they want to do. And if you don't want to go to the parade, you don't have to go to the parade, right? You can go to some
So
pro-Pakistan parade.
I won't go even there as well because I've left the country for a reason.
Sure, I'm
So
just saying that there's Pakistani communities in the United States that have associations and they do parades, they do events. Communities are going to do events. I mean, that's fine.
maybe it's just my algorithm that I only see blue side doing that. I'm never, come across red focusing on more
The
these
blue
stupid
side is
issues.
just saying that if you are gay, if you are trans, you should be allowed to live your life how you want to live your life.
Okay.
Right? That is human rights. Trans rights are human rights. Gay rights are human rights.
But I still feel like the focus more should be on human rights rather than, dividing into particular
But we
categories.
don't have to
That's
divide. It's not excluding anyone.
I mean that thing has just weakened the human right itself. If it would have been
I don't think
human
it
right,
has, right? I mean, in America, the average progressive says we should not bully trans people, we should not bully gay people, but also I believe in rights for Palestinian people. Also, I believe in rights for Black and Hispanic Americans who are being targeted by ICE. I mean, we can talk about specific communities who face specific problems without saying that no one else matters, right? And that's what we're
yeah.
doing.
I mean, you are, saying some good points, but I haven't studied much on other issues. I mostly, read about the immigration issues because that's where I'm at the moment.
Let me ask you
Uh,
a question. Do you believe
okay.
in America it would be good for the president of the United States to threaten his opponents with death?
That's wrong. But
But
you
not
know,
just wrong, not just wrong, but does that cross a line that's like, okay, if you cross
yes,
this line, I
exactly,
can't. Trump has done that
exactly, it
multiple
does.
times now.
But when I see if he's doing wrong, I don't see anyone in the government is clean, chit. Like they have something wrong. Like if it
But
comes
there's
to their,
levels. There's levels to this, right? And threatening someone with death and with jail is so
who
far
did he
beyond
threaten? Who did he threaten? Are you
Democrats.
talking about the ones who were giving, suggesting the army not to take orders? Are you referring to that
They didn't
point?
suggest to the army not to take orders.
I mean, I am. Please excuse me on my words.
They
Like there
they
was,
made a video saying that if you are in the military, you are
yes,
allowed to refuse illegal orders, which is true. You are allowed to refuse illegal orders. And it makes
yeah,
sense to
but
tell the military that when Trump has been giving illegal orders.
if military won't, listen to the president, then how they will defend the country?
Well, no, the military is supposed to listen to the Constitution, not the president, right? If the president says go kill everyone, the military is supposed to say no. That's why we're different from Pakistan, right? In Pakistan, the military does whatever they want.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, in America, we have a civilian military, right? Their ultimate loyalty is to the Constitution of the United States, and if the president tells them you have to break the law, the military is supposed to say no.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know that.
And
I need to
that's one
really
thing that makes
educate
America
myself.
great. Would you agree, right, that the military should not be breaking the law? They should be saying, okay, if Trump tells me go arrest Nancy Pelosi or something, the military should say no, that's illegal. We're not just going to do that for no reason.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I have, run from.
Yes.
That's why I came over here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, man. What else I wanted to discuss? Yeah, okay. Tell me this thing.
Hmm.
Even though I'm from Pakistan, but I belong to minority over there. I won't disclose, which minority.
Okay.
Uh, I've seen, US is way too much diversified, which in my home country, which is not. I see everybody, living together, respecting, what they believe.
Isn't that a good
I
thing?
just, it is a good thing, but there is a particular community, not all, even though most of my friends, because I'm from Pakistan, most of my friends belong to that particular community,
Okay.
but there are some percentage, I don't know how they become radical. They just, spoil it for everybody, and it just belongs to the, that particular community. And you know who am I talking about? I
Who
just
are you
don't know
talking
why.
about? Can you don't have to
The,
be
co-
too specific. Can you give me a better idea of what you're referring to here?
the community you belong to.
Pakistanis?
Go more on the, beliefs side.
Okay, so I think I know what you're talking about here, but you're saying, okay, a small minority of people who identify as Muslim are ruining it for
But
everyone else, right?
but why is it always them? In my home country, I've seen it as well. Like in America, like even if you go to the western side,
Well, hold on.
most of the
It's not
cases,
always them though, right? I mean, there's plenty of white
most, as
nationalists
I said, most of them. Why?
in
Why?
America.
Like if you go on a
I
European
mean, you can look
side,
at all the mass casualty events that have happened at schools. I don't want to say the exact thing, but you know what I'm talking about.
yeah,
Mass,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, no,
Those
no.
are not. Those are white guys a lot of the
the
time, right?
on the name of religion, I'm talking about. Why is it most of time? Why is it always
I
them?
mean, the biggest religious extremist threat in America right now, isn't it the Christian nationalists who are trying to take over the government and enforce Christian morals through our laws?
But to be honest, I see it because they are getting tired of how their countries or I think they are seeing is at a threat on their belief.
No one's
Because
threatening. And here's the issue: you said, okay, one Muslim does something bad and they ruin it for everyone else. No, they don't. It's the people like Trump who ruin it for
my
everyone
question
else.
is
Hold
why
on, let me just finish. It's
most
people
of
like
time it's
Trump.
always them.
Let me just finish real quick. It's not that one person ruins it for everyone. It's that someone like Trump ruins it for everyone by generalizing based off of that one person, saying that because this one person is from this country or from this religion, then everyone from that religion or everyone from that country has to be held responsible. That's also un-American. In America, we believe you treat people as individuals, not members of a group where they have to bear collective responsibility.
My question was, why is it more like most of the time, why it's always them when it comes to doing it on the basis of the religion? Like as I said in the
It's not
beginning,
always them, though.
most of 99 of my friends are, from like they are Muslims because I've been brought up in the Pakistan, and I have really, really great friends. But whenever something happens on the basis of religion, most of the time it's always, related to
I mean, listen,
Islam.
religious radicalism is an issue in a lot of different communities, and that's fine. But the issue is when you start
How
generalizing
is
about
it
Muslims
fine?
in general.
Even if other religions does it, it's never fine. Like, is
No,
it shocking
what I'm
to
what
see
I'm
that?
saying when I say it's fine is that like Muslims don't collectively bear responsibility for the actions of a few bad actors.
Okay, I think you're not responding to the question that I
What's
asked.
the question you're asking?
I wanted to understand like why it's most of the time it's only them when it comes to doing it for the religion. I'm not seeing
Well,
Christian doing it for the religion. I don't see like Hindus doing it for
I
religion.
mean, in India,
I
there
don't.
are a lot of attacks on Muslims from Hindu people.
Do you know about Indian history? Like they have been, I think they are coming to the point they are like, we are not getting any more of it. So they are giving it back.
My question is, why do Muslims as a whole have to be punished for the actions of a few people?
That's wrong. It shouldn't be like that.
I
It
agree.
shouldn't be like that. There should be a waiting, like vetting as a VETTING
Yeah, there is.
for everybody, not only for them.
Yes.
But there shouldn't be like generalizing, which has currently been done to that particular community. But I think since government is also looking at the data, like they are doing it in the name of religion, and which is resulting in innocence being affected by that.
Sure, any
I just
act
feel
of
like
violence
it's not.
against innocence is horrible. I agree.
Yeah. So people are saying me in the comments like I should leave America. I'm not.
No.
I'm talking. Like I am grateful for every single second that I've been in America. It just I'm sad when I see people not realizing how grateful they are. There are many issues in the US as well.
Yeah.
But they haven't seen the bad days.
No, I mean,
They
I'm
haven't seen
grateful
the
for
bad
sure. I
days.
think the issue is that people are a little bit upset because you were generalizing and you were kind of saying that, like, for example, oh, the reason Christian nationalism is on the rise is because they're getting kind of sick and tired of what's been done to them, right?
Yes, exactly. Thank you for putting it
Yeah,
in
but
better words.
what's been done to them exactly? I mean, Christians have been the dominant religion in the United States always. White people have been the dominant race in the United States always. So these are not victims.
Okay, I'll give you one example. I've had discussion. One of my local friends, which I made in college over here, and I agree to them as well. That they give me an example of prayer. Okay, in home country, it's done on loudspeaker. Like in my home country,
Like the
which I
azan?
feel like yes, I do not wanted to hear azan. Okay, I
Wait,
respect it.
What about
I
what
respect.
about church bells?
They don't go okay. Because I understand what's being said in the azan. It says, okay, I'll say it prayer so people could understand what I'm saying when it says azan. It says Allah is the only God. There is no one. It basically saying, for example, if I'm Hindu, then it disrespects what I believe. I
No,
do not
it's
want
it's
to.
not disrespect. It's just they're just speaking to other Muslims. I mean, again, and there are sound ordinances. Like you can't blast something on a loudspeaker, but if church bells are allowed, then why shouldn't the azan be loud as well?
Church bell don't go off early in the morning. As you know, there is Isha, Zaher.
Oh, I mean, listen, a lot of cities are going to have sound ordinances where, like, before 10 a.m., you can't be this
But
loud.
I
That's
just
fine.
when I see it being done on loudspeaker, I just feel it it is being enforced on, as you said, like the prayer call is for Muslim.
Or
I
have you
do not want
considered
it to hear.
have you considered that maybe there's just a lot of Muslims that live there and they want to be able to hear the azan so they can go pray in time?
But even if there are 99% and I'm the only 1% over there, it shouldn't, because it is I feel disrespect.
Why? Why is the azan
I
disrespectful
do not
to
want
you?
it to hear. I do not want
If
it
I
to
if
hear.
I if a Muslim overheard a Hindu prayer, they wouldn't feel disrespected. They'd just say, okay, that's a Hindu over there.
That's right as well. I don't want their, religious prayer to be on loudspeaker as well. It's not only about the Muslim. I just don't want it to be. I want it to be done inside the boundaries where only they could hear it. I don't want to hear if I am crossing beside that, mosque
Well,
or
number
something
one,
like
this
that.
isn't a super common
And church
thing.
bells are not. I basically, see, that particular prayer as a noise pollution, because first of all, in my home
Hold on.
country,
Yeah.
it's so loud, like you can understand, like because
Well, I know in
everywhere.
Pakistan you can hear the azan literally everywhere, regardless of where you are. That's a different situation. You're saying you don't want noise pollution. Most cities have laws against noise pollution, and you can't violate those, right? But working within the confines of those laws, working within what's allowed, any religious person should be able to, as long as they're following the law, do a call to prayer, whether it's church bells, whether it's the azan, whether it's something else,
Yeah,
right?
but
As
I
long
do
as they're
not want
following
it.
the sound ordinances.
I just feel like it is being enforced by, making them hear it 5 times a day. And church bells don't, say anything in it, and it doesn't go off, and early in the morning
Wait,
or
how is
five
it being
times a day.
enforced if
It
someone's just talking like you? This is again free
Okay,
speech.
but how is it being enforced? If I am not a Muslim, then it is saying like Allah is the only
And
God.
you can say,
It's
okay, I disagree. I'm going to move on with my day.
yeah, but I do not want it. If it is disrespecting, if I'm continuously hearing, okay, this is the only God, this is the only God, when I have my own God. You know what I'm saying?
But how is that disrespectful?
That
That's just someone else's religious belief.
yes, so they can do it in their boundaries. I don't want
Right.
to hear
The
it on
adhan
speakers.
speakers are probably going to be attached to a masjid.
Yeah, but why can't those be, like to the, volume where only they could hear it? I
Well,
do
hold on.
not want it to hear it
The
outside.
volume that it's set to has to follow all the local laws on sound pollution. So that's already going to be the case. They can't break most cities, again, have rules that you can't be more than this loud, or if it's like nighttime, you can't be playing any loud noises in the middle of the night. That's fine, right? But for like afternoon, evening prayers, a masjid having a speaker where a bunch of Muslims live by, I mean, what's the issue there?
The issue is I see it as a noise pollution. I do not want it to hear. I did agree. I do agree with most of your point, but this is just something I feel like I do not want it to hear.
But you don't. You can put on headphones. You can leave.
What if I live in that area? So do you want me to move as well?
You don't have to move. You can just put on headphones. You can go
I
do
mean,
something. I mean, it's like this is
they
just not. Doesn't
they
seem like
can
a big deal.
literally do the same thing just by reducing the sound or making it do
Well,
the
listen. If anyone is
inside the
breaking, if anyone's breaking the laws on sound ordinances, like they're playing something too loud,
you
and the
know
city code
I
doesn't
see
allow it,
them
then you can
abusing.
complain about that.
This
But
is this is another thing which I see them abusing freedom of. There is another amendment on religion, like everybody is
can I ask what you
preaching.
mean by abusing freedom? Because you've brought that up a few times. What does it mean to abuse freedom?
I gave you an example of that, burning the
Yeah, but that's an example.
flag.
I'm asking, like, what does it mean to abuse freedom? Because isn't the whole point of freedom that you can, I mean, you're free to do whatever? If you're saying there's like a abuse of freedom, then you're kind of saying it's actually not freedom. Because if you
Yeah,
abuse it, then you have to face legal consequences.
I love this thing about America, that there is a First Amendment, but I feel like there should be some exceptions added. I'm still not fully educated on how there should be changes made to the Constitution, because it was made 1,000 years ago or
What's an
decades ago.
example of a change you'd like to see to the First Amendment? Just, I mean, you don't have to be too specific, just in general.
Well, I to be honest, as a Pakistani, I don't want people to, burn their, country flag. That should be, I mean,
It should be
if they are
illegal.
upset, not illegal, but there should be, how do I say
There
it?
should be consequences.
But then, if there are consequences about it, it means they've broken some law, and uh, maybe they are, forcefully made them do some community work or something like that. I just find it wrong. Like I
Isn't
don't know
that
how
kind of
to.
a worrying thing where if you burn the government's flag, the government can force you into hard labor against your will?
Again, that's okay. That's wrong. But that's what I'm saying. Like uh, there should be something where it's not illegal, but making them understand like this is wrong. Like they're not getting anything out of it by burning their country's
The,
flag.
the
Or
president could give a
maybe
speech and say, I don't think you should burn the American flag, but you still have the right to do it if you'd like. I mean, again, it seems like a lot of your issue is that you don't like how some people choose to use their freedom. But that's the cost of freedom, is that people are going to do stuff you don't like, but you also get to do stuff they don't like. And that's what a free society is.
yeah, I mean, that's where I think we have a different point of view. I'll see many people who have immigrated from a third world countries for many reasons, and but they'll still come to the US and wave their home countries. Like I also find that wrong as well. Like if America has given you a chance to live a better life, earn better money, to make American dream as a real, then you shouldn't wave your country's flag, home country's flag over here. You should respect the America, and I don't see them having America flag in their home
I
rather
think
than
I'm
their home country.
understanding what our disagreement is, in that I believe that what makes America so great is that the government works for us. We don't work for the government. The government works for us.
Exactly.
If the government wants
That's
to
how
lay a
it should
finger,
be.
if the government wants to lay a finger on you, there's an entire legal process they have to follow to do that in a legitimate fashion. And you seem to be doing other thing where it's like, no. Americans must defer to and respect and almost like bow down to the authority of the U.S. government. Don't burn American flags. Don't be
I'm
too
not
loud with
saying
your
must.
Islam.
I'm not saying must, but as I said, like there should be freedom, and that's why I, came to this country. But I'm just unable to explain. Like, there should be like maybe people haven't seen a bad life. They should visit a third world country and
I
see how
agree. I think a
people are.
lot of Americans take for granted the material comforts we live
They
in.
have no idea. I won't even say
Sure.
they have 1% idea like how
But
people are living their life.
Sure, I agree. People
That's
that live in the
where I'm
United
saying,
States
like,
are a
that's
lot more blessed than people that live in other countries materially on average. That's fine. But we're talking about right now people's freedom to express themselves. Whether it's their religion, whether they want to burn an American flag, carry a Mexican flag, that's all part of freedom.
But okay, do you know the reason like why people still wave their home country, flag, but
Maybe they have
won't
pride in where they came from.
But then why didn't they? Why don't they go and live in that country
Because
if
maybe,
they are
for
so?
example, someone could come here from Pakistan and they might say, I hate the Pakistani government, but maybe they love Pakistani culture and cuisine and acting, and they have a lot of family there, and there's a lot of cultural things about Pakistan they love. If they want to come here and fly a Pakistani flag as an American, that's fine. That represents a culture to them.
Okay.
And that's what makes America so great, is that we have so many different cultures. I mean, in America, I can open up DoorDash right now. I can get butter chicken. I can get tacos. I can get sushi. I mean, that's what happens when people from all over the world come here. They can bring their nationality, their flag, their cultural mores, their recipes, their ways of speaking, and they can still be American, right? I can wave a Pakistani flag and I'm still an American. I'm just talking about the culture and the food. I mean, this is what diversity and freedom is supposed to be. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes people will do stuff that you personally don't like, but that is what freedom is.
Okay, this is a great point, but I don't see them waving flag to, show their, culture. For example, if it would have been done and there is some kind of an event or something, they mostly do it when they are going out on a strike or,
Who's they?
doing. I mean, like currently that we have seen this people going on the roads, doing the strikes, or even the, King's March, that
Because,
there were
hold
many.
on, people are doing that because Trump is, I mean, honestly, destroying America. He's destroying everything that makes, I mean, people love this country, and if someone comes in and tries to destroy this country, people are going to be upset. They're going to take to the streets.
Yeah, that's what freedom should be. But they are waving their home country's flag. It doesn't help America.
Well, maybe they're waving their home country's flag because Trump is constantly trying to target people and shame people and make them face, in some cases, legal consequences just because of the country they came from. Trump said that people that come here from Somalia are garbage people. If someone wants to wave the
That's wrong.
Somalian flag in response, say, no, we're not garbage people. We have a beautiful, unique culture and beautiful, unique people. We're not garbage people. They can wave the Somalian flag if they want to do that. I think that's actually a good form of protest.
Yeah, another good point. I mean,
I appreciate you being open-minded about that.
yeah, as I said, I'm not educated on most of the issues, but since I'm part of immigration, so I learn and, educate myself more on that. And I don't feel
And
like,
are you going through the green card process?
I'm through Einstein visa. Do you know about Einstein visa?
That's for like very high performers.
Yes.
Okay. So do you agree if someone goes through the legal system, they follow all the rules, they ought to be treated with respect?
Yes.
So when Trump is going after people like Mahmoud Khalil, who did nothing wrong, he just expressed his opinion on the genocide happening in Gaza, and then in response, he's put in handcuffs, he's dragged away from his pregnant wife, and he misses the birth of his first child. And a judge ordered his release because the judge said, you are just arresting this man for expressing his free speech. When Trump is doing stuff like that, Trump is destroying America, attacking America way more than someone who burns an American flag or plays the azan at a masjid. Trump is actually attacking America, right? If someone deserves consequences for attacking this country, it's Donald Trump.
Okay, I read about that, even the other side which I read about it was saying like I think he was doing it in the colleges, which resulted in some of the student getting harmed
The
or
other side
spoiled.
lost in court. The other side lost in court, and the judge said, this was not even a liberal judge, it was a Ronald Reagan appointed conservative judge, said that the Trump administration is purposefully targeting pro-Palestinian protesters because they want to create an environment of fear. They want other pro-Palestinian protesters to see Mahmoud Khalil getting arrested and say, oh, I don't want to get arrested, I'm too scared to protest now. When the government is trying to instill fear in the people to keep them from protesting, that is one of the most un-American things they could do.
I do, I don't agree on most of the things that, president is doing or like the words he's using.
Not just the words, the policy.
As I said, I'm not, aware of much of his policies.
What about the policy I just described to you, which is that people are being arrested for expressing their opinions?
I mean, that's wrong. Definitely, that's wrong. Educate me on this. Like, there hasn't been any case before when like Democrats were in government.
No,
like,
I mean,
they
this is
weren't
brand
being
new that someone
arrested.
was. Yeah, no, Biden never did this. Obama never did this. Trump in his first term never even did this, where someone was put in handcuffs out of the blue. And Mahmoud Khalil comes home to his apartment complex with his wife.
Educate me on this. Like,
Yeah.
was that when they were out on the road, Mahmoud Khalil?
He didn't commit. He wasn't even accused of a crime.
Did they destroy anything? Because we see when they are on, people are not happy about what's going on in the government. They destroy the shops.
Sure.
They'll did they do anything?
No,
Maybe
so-
that's why he was arrested.
No, so the thing that's so crazy about this is when Mahmoud Khalil was arrested, he wasn't even accused of a crime. They didn't even say he committed a crime. They just said that him expressing his opinion on Palestine was a threat to American foreign policy interests. And a judge said, you can't just detain someone because they have a different opinion on foreign policy than you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, then he should be out definitely.
He is out now because the judge ordered his release, which I think is a good thing.
Okay, that's good. I mean, yeah, there are many things that are being, done wrong. Yeah. So the reason, I still, support Trump on immigration point of view because I see many people coming in, without, papers or
But
many people.
Trump is targeting people who are following the rules. Why is he targeting people who are doing it the right way?
Is he?
He is. ICE is going to immigration courthouses.
they are going against the people because I'm reading about most of the cases because I am in most of the groups and we discuss about everything.
Okay.
There are many groups I've been part of.
Okay.
So there are many ways people can get green card, and many people are abusing. Even there are thousands of people that I know that
Sure,
have
but
gone.
when someone abuses the immigration process, there's a system to address that, which is immigration courts and immigration judges. But Trump is sending ICE agents to these immigration courts, and before people can even have their case properly adjudicated, they are being put in handcuffs and dragged out of there, sometimes screaming and crying. Their family is being abused. I mean, people are being physically abused. They're having their civil rights violated. They're being mentally abused. People that are being held in ICE captivity are sleeping on the floor. They're not even given sheets. The food they are given is rotten and has maggots in it, has mold in it. I mean, these, you talked earlier about human rights. These are human rights abuses.
Okay, so let me explain this. Whenever, for example, if someone, do you know how removal orders work? Like in which situation they get removal orders?
Yeah.
Do you understand, or do you want me to
Yeah,
explain?
if you have been here for a very short amount of time or you were found right by the border, you're subject to expedited removal. Otherwise, you see an immigration judge, and an immigration judge has to issue a removal order for you.
Okay, yeah, those are correct point as well. The other points, for example, if I came on a student visa or something, there is a limited time I can live over here.
Yep.
For example, normally, on average, people get 5 years of visit visa whenever they visit, and you can't live 5 years at one moment. You can live 6 months at once, and then you have to leave. So if people are living, for example, more than even one day after 6 months, they are illegal. They have abused their status, and then the same day they will receive their removal orders. They are asked to leave. If they don't respect it, then those are also being highlighted.
Listen,
And
if someone
hold on,
comes
hold
here
on.
and
Let
they
me
over,
explain it, please.
yeah,
Please let me explain it.
sure.
Okay, so if they received a removal order and after that they somehow, got a job and got the green card, those people, even though now they have a green card by right means, but they had a removal order or
Well, they
are being
wouldn't
deported.
they
And
wouldn't
I
be able
don't
to
see
get a
anything
green
wrong
card.
in it.
If they have an active removal order from a judge, they wouldn't be able to get a green card.
I'm just giving you one example of how, things can work. There are people abusing the system by sham marriages,
But
by
no one
getting a green
disagrees. If someone comes here and they overstay a visa and then they actively hide and they try to break the law, then sure, you can
That's
deport them. But what people like me would say
So
is,
that's
okay,
where
if
ICE
someone's
comes
visa
in.
is about to expire, give them a little reminder check-in, give them give them a grace period to leave. Don't just immediately treat them like a violent criminal.
The visa I am on, like we do get a grace period.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, if there are other visas where they
Most people
don't.
do get a grace
I
period, yeah.
think, yeah, they get. So people are aware. It's just people. What's the term? They deliberately are doing that to abuse the system, and they
But
don't leave. Then that's where ICE comes
hold
in,
on.
and they are deporting
This is
them.
where we
And
disagree.
regarding the
This is
detention center you talked about, I saw on Google as well. I don't know whether it is exactly truth or not, but Biden has almost same detention center as well. They were sleeping on the floor. They were receiving
that was a problem under
white
Biden as well,
white silver sheet as a blanket or something.
on a hard
And
tile floor.
and as a Pakistani, if I'm poor, those people in detention were still living good life because they had roof, sheet, food to eat. And
Well,
Pakistan, they don't even have that as well.
hold on.
And
I just
I
want to
was like,
address
why
this.
people are even crying about that?
You're
They have
talking about people who legitimately abuse the system and are legitimately bad faith actors being deported. No one has an issue with actual bad people being deported. What I have an issue with, and what I just brought up, is people that are following all the rules and ICE is still targeting them. In some cases, citizens are being targeted as well. This is unacceptable. If someone is showing up to immigration court for their hearing, if they're checking in with DHS, if they have work authorization, they should be allowed to follow the rules as they are choosing to do, and ICE should not be ambushing those people. Now, you're going to bring up, what about actual criminals? What about actual visa overstays who run and hide? That's fine. No one is against deporting those people as long as it's done humanely. What we are talking about is people who follow the rules. They follow all the rules, and they are still targeted. They are still still abused. They are, and another reason they are kept in those holding facilities, which have gotten much worse under Trump compared to under Biden, is because ICE wants them to give up on their case and leave. A lot of these people are waiting 3, 4, 5, 6 months at least to have their case be heard by a judge, and every night they're sleeping on a tile floor and they're being fed moldy bread. That's torture. And a lot of them think, you know what? I can't stay here for 5 months fighting my immigration case, eating moldy food, sleeping on the hard floor. I'm just going to leave. They are literally making life harder for people that are trying to follow the rules. This is unacceptable. And these are
I
not
mean,
bad people or criminals. They're following the rules. Why are we attacking people that follow the rules?
as I gave an example of if there is a removal order and they then somehow get the status back, or some government work
That's not
like
what I'm
help
talking
them to
about.
get. I'm just saying, like, even though if they had a, they were out of status, but then, got back and got the green card, just because they were out of
That's not
status for
possible.
that. And you were talking about citizen being deported
Detained.
because maybe because they became citizen afterwards, and they had active removal
No, no,
order,
no.
or they,
First of
and
all,
citizens
you
can't be deported as long as
hold
I
on.
understand the
A few
immigration.
things. You can't get citizenship or a green card if you have an active removal order. So there's no such thing as a green card holder or a citizen who had some hidden or secret removal order from a judge. If that was the case, they never would have been granted the green card or the citizenship. Secondly, ICE is not going after people that are breaking the rules. They are racially profiling people, and they've admitted as much. They look for brown people that speak with an accent or who are speaking Spanish.
Okay, so you're suggesting I shouldn't go out?
I mean, depends where you're at. If you're in Chicago, if you're in certain parts of Texas, you could very well be scooped up by ICE. Yeah, maybe they'd let you
To be
go
honest,
eventually, but
I haven't seen, any people in my area or the groups I've been part of, people who are following the rules are getting any kind of an issue. So I don't know how, they are racially,
there are videos of
profiled.
it. There are stats that show this. It is definitely
Um,
happening. In fact, over
Maybe people are
170 U.S.
resisting,
citizens have
maybe
been
people are
detained this
not
year.
answering the questions, because I also see those kind of videos as well, where
No, but
people try
here's
to
an issue we
make,
keep running into. Anytime the government abuses its power, you think, oh, the person who was a victim must have done something wrong to deserve it. That's what you keep saying. Every time I give you an example of the government being authoritarian or abusing its power, you're like, well, wait, the person who faced that abuse of power, they must have done something to deserve that from the government. And I think that's a problem. I don't think it's true. Why is your default assumption the government's in the right and the person is in the wrong?
I just don't see a reason, like, why, because America needs people. There is an immigration for that, and I don't see a reason why they would kick out, people for no
I
reason.
can tell you why. Stephen Miller, who is in charge of Trump's immigration policy, he thinks
Yeah.
America should be a majority white country, and that when brown people come into America, they're making America a dirty country.
Okay, so if that's what he wants, then there are many immigrants that come through the white other countries as well, and their immigration isn't as fast. They are also in the same line, which is slow. If that's what he wants, then he could expedite the
They
green card
have
for
done that,
them.
right? The only refugees the United States is accepting right now are supposed South African refugees, who are all just white people from South Africa, who, by the way, are not actual refugees. Every other actual country that has real refugees, they're not allowed to come here. Only South Africans, because they're white.
Okay, I didn't know about that. Yeah, I'll study more about like who they are allowing in. But as far as I've read, we are all in the same line. It's just because I am in a Einstein visa. That's why my case will be processed much faster. But other than that, I just see everybody in the same, line.
A lot of these people that are in, this is why some people in the chat have been saying that Trump supporters wouldn't like someone like you. The reason they're saying that is because a lot of
I'm
people,
agreeing to most of your points.
sure, I'm just saying
Why are
a
they
lot of
saying that?
people in the Trump camp, a lot of MAGA people, they don't want any immigrants coming here, whether or not it's legal or illegal. They don't want anyone coming here.
No, man, I've seen, many people who are welcoming. I live in a great
I'm not
state. I
saying that
won't
people aren't
even name
welcoming.
it.
I'm saying a lot of people that support Trump, they think no one should be coming here, especially no brown people.
Well, I've had people have been really, good to me. I live in a
I'm
red
sure they
state.
have. Many people are
I
very
live
nice,
in a
welcoming
red
people. I
state.
think
I
that's,
work in a big company, and everybody has been really,
no,
welcoming.
I'm glad that's the case, and I'm sure it's the
And
case. I'm
most of
talking
them
about
are
Trump's
Republican,
administration.
so I don't, feel that energy from them. To be really honest, the only, when I'm, reading the comments, I just feel we see people, bullying me
Have you
just
have you
because
not seen any of the racism against South Asians coming from Trump supporters? Really?
Yes, I've seen, on
Okay,
the,
okay.
not to me personally, but on social media, I've definitely seen it, and I don't think it'll go
Some
away.
of the most quote unquote acceptable racism in the United States today, in colloquial terms, is racism against South Asian people. I mean, that's like the one group. It's like it seems people are okay with making fun of Indians and Pakistanis. That's like the one group that's the butt of every racial joke right now. Part of that is because of the MAGA people that have brought that into the mainstream, talking about, oh, you're a G. I don't know if you've heard that before.
I'm G? Okay,
G,
no, I'm not.
J-E-E-T. You've never heard this?
No. Okay, they refer to a
Yeah,
particular
that's
community
all coming from
community.
MAGA world.
Okay.
That's not coming from
Yeah,
Kamala Harris's campaign. I'll tell you that much.
that's not. Yeah, I just feel like that's not gonna go away anytime soon.
I
Like
mean,
that will be there.
that was not the case 10 years ago. It's gotten worse because of Trump. In 2015, dude, I had never heard the word G anywhere. I'd never seen this level of anti-South Asian racism that I'm seeing now.
So you're saying like a decade ago, even though people had different point of view, they could talk to each other,
Yes.
but now they're not.
Yes.
Like they can't even talk. They are either you or either live or leave.
And,
Is that
here's
what
what happened. A lot of racists back in 2015, 2014, they still existed, but they were a lot more quiet. They didn't say this kind of stuff in public because the public perception was racism is bad, and if someone said something overtly racist in public, they were shamed for it. But Trump has changed that now, where racists are proud and loud, and they go and say these things in public, and they don't even get much backlash. Trump has made racism more acceptable and more mainstream. He's actually made us go backwards on a lot of our social progress.
Okay, don't you see that as, again, I'll say that them also abusing the freedom of speech as you were defending the, flag burning.
Racism?
Yeah.
I mean, racism isn't illegal, but I think it's bad, yeah.
Again, as I'm saying, like that is wrong as well. That shouldn't be there.
Well, I
So
wouldn't
they're
compare.
also,
I wouldn't compare that to burning the American flag, right? Burning the American
freedom of
flag
speech. I'm
isn't hurting
talking
anyone.
about the freedom of speech. Like they are saying that out
Yes,
of freedom of speech
under-
because they
yes.
know they won't be anything against them. They won't be accountable for
Hold on.
what they are saying.
So legally
That's why.
speaking,
That's why.
I understand. Legally speaking, burning the American flag and saying something racist, those are both covered by the First Amendment, but one of
No.
those is way, way worse than, I mean, being racist is actually
Yeah.
really bad. Burning the American flag, I don't really care.
For me, both are bad. Racism is, on higher level.
Okay.
But I'm coming to the freedom of, speech point, like how they are also abusing, and the other side is also abusing. It's just how different people are abusing it in a different way.
Well, in a
That's
much
where I
worse way.
wanted to have a what?
In a much worse way under Trump. I think racism is way, 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 way worse than, I don't think burning the American flag is actually that bad. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I just see it both in the same, like abusing it. Now there can be, levels who is abusing more
But they're
or
not
less.
super close
But-
in comparison. Racism can, I mean, destabilize and destroy entire societies and create discrimination towards millions of people.
the other
Burning the
reason I
American
see
flag is
it-
not going to hurt anyone.
The other reason I see it is because the rise of social media as well, because everybody has gone that now have that option. That's why
Yeah.
it just coincident as well. So wasn't there any, racism or anything in the Biden era as well? Because
I mean,
I
listen,
came.
there's always been racism in the United States. The point that I'm making is it's gotten actually worse under Trump, when before that, the trend in the United States, broadly speaking, is that we come to more of an agreement that racism is bad, right? We abolish slavery. We get rid of Jim Crow. We have civil rights. There's a trend generally in a progressive direction in the United States where we say, okay, people should have rights regardless of who they are, right? Women should be allowed to vote. Black people should be allowed to vote. Gay people should be allowed to get married. That's the direction we should be moving in, is giving more people more rights and more freedom regardless of what they look like, who they love, whatever else. Trump has taken that trend, a positive trend in American politics, and reversed it, where now we're becoming more hateful and more racist and more sexist. He has, in many ways, undermined decades of progress made by civil rights leaders.
Okay. To be honest, you're educating me on most of the points which I'm not aware. So I can only agree and read about it later.
I appreciate that.
But yeah, I can't really, defend myself on something which I don't know.
And that's okay. And I appreciate you for hopping on. I didn't mean to cut you off so abruptly there. I think we kind of had, I don't know where else that conversation really could have gone. Yeah, I don't have much to say about that, honestly. We still have some dude named Sayed Abid 766 in the guest requests. If you want to let me know who you are, and if you want to debate, I can let you up. I am leaving in like 30 minutes. I have plans tonight, but I wanted to hop on and do a quick stream before I left. If you guys are enjoying the live, again, make sure you are double tapping the screen. Make sure you are sharing the live. Make sure you're following up above. If you want to watch in full screen, I am also live right now on YouTube, which is much better quality, much better setup as well. And if you want to support a radical left lunatic like myself, my Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo are all in the link tree in my bio. But with that being said, I guess we can cover some news before I leave, unless someone else wants to debate, but it doesn't seem like that's the case right now.
Now to CNN chief media analyst Brian Stelter. This is really...
Whoa. Blast to the past. I forgot about Brian Stelter. I feel like I haven't seen this guy since 2018.
a severe blow, it seems, to the network's credibility here. What are you hearing from journalists there, Brian?
You're not allowed to have plans.
I think that's
Actually,
accurate.
this is an authoritarian live, so what I say goes. There's no democracy around here. Sorry.
Is a blow to credibility. Whether or not the piece actually airs in the future, and Editor-in-Chief Barry Weiss is saying to the staff this morning, this segment will air when it's ready. But here's what's odd about the situation. We can walk through the timeline, and I think it'll show how this doesn't really add up, all right? Correspondent Sharon Alfonsi had been working on this segment for weeks. She interviewed some of these deportees who described torturous conditions at Sikot, that prison in El Salvador that the Trump administration has been sending migrants
Sikot.
to.
I've never heard this pronunciation before. Sikot.
At Sikot, that prison in El Salvador that the Trump
Maybe it
administration
is, I
has
don't
been
know.
sending migrants to. So these interviews were in the can, they were edited, this segment was ready to go according to producers, editors, fact checkers, and even the lawyers who reviewed the segment. As of Friday, this was ready to go. And that's significant because on Thursday night, Editor-in-Chief Barry Weiss was able to screen it for the first time. I'm told she had some concerns, but there was a sort of an assessment that the piece was going to move forward. And on Friday afternoon, this broadcast was publicized. It was
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's CCOT, but I could be wrong. That's just completely vibes. I don't know.
ahead of time. Alfonsi's segment was announced to the public. And yet, on Saturday morning, Weiss weighed in with additional concerns. And I'm told, according to sources, she was especially concerned about the lack of a Trump administration response to the reporting. Now, Alfonsi says in an internal memo that waiting for a response is unrealistic because it's clear the Trump administration
Sikot is correct.
not want to respond to these allegations. She said, I want to pull up the quote here, their refusal to be interviewed was a tactical maneuver designed to kill the story. If the administration's refusal to participate becomes a valid reason to spike a story,
Shadow ban. No, this is not a shadow ban. 124 is like that's just on the lower end of the typical spectrum. Shadow ban was yesterday when we had 20 people in here. That was That was crazy.
We've effectively handed them a kill switch for any reporting they find inconvenient. So that's the view from the 60 Minutes reporting team. The piece was ready to go, it was in the can, it was going to be broadcast on Sunday, but all of a sudden over the weekend, Weiss decided to shelve it. And that has created a real uproar inside CBS News, with widespread concerns about political meddling and about corporate interference. All of this coming as CBS's parent company, Paramount, both tries to ingratiate itself with the Trump administration and tries a hostile takeover bid for this network's parent company, Warner Bros. Discovery.
I mean, and it comes as President Trump has really been ratcheting up his criticism of 60 Minutes. Tell us more about that.
It's so crazy that Trump is still criticizing and crying about 60 Minutes and CBS so much when they gave him such an insanely softball interview. I want to pull that up again. That interview actually disturbs me on a very deep level. I'm forgetting the name of the interviewer, but this was a shame. This was Nora O'Donnell. Shameful interview, and he's such a little crybaby that despite being given a softball interview, where he was never ever pushed on anything, he still finds a way to say it's unfair. Can y'all believe that MAGA still claims the media is biased against Trump? Everything we've seen over the last 4 years is the media being biased in favor of Trump. Was the Biden administration being biased in favor of Trump? That's why Trump got away with all his bullshit crimes.
Maybe a little bit irrationally, but the big thing we had was tariffs ultimately.
Let's just... Actually, no. I tried watching this once and I got a fucking copyright strike. So never mind.
And the timing of this.
Yes, that's right. And that is the essential context here. You know, when Paramount changed hands earlier this year, Trump praised the new owners, David Ellison and his father, Larry. He described them as friends and supporters. Trump was very excited to have CBS moving into new hands. But 2 weeks ago, Trump changed his tunes. He started to criticize the Ellisons and 60 Minutes specifically. Trump at first was mad about an interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene that aired on the broadcast. We know Trump cares a lot about 60 Minutes, and we know he's been railing against both the broadcast and the new owners of Paramount. At the same time, these owners need regulatory approval for their future aspirations to grow the company. So that is the political context for the story. Now, I'm told by sources at CBS that Bari Weiss became more personally involved at 60 Minutes in the past couple of weeks. But she said to staffers this morning that the story simply was not ready.
Oh, by the way,
it was not.
Someone was asking me earlier about the Epstein files. Here's a really interesting stat that I feel like most people don't know. The heavily redacted Epstein files that were released represent less than 5% of all the files in the possession of Trump's DOJ and FBI. In other words, 95% of all the files remain under seal. The law Congress passed and Trump signed required everything released. And even the heavily redacted stuff they did release was only 5% of all the documents.
To go. More reporting must be done. And frankly, I'm not hearing many supporters of hers internally at CBS. I'm hearing a lot of criticism about this decision. But you know what's happened, Pam? A lot more people are suddenly interested in the story, right? A lot more people suddenly want to know more about what these detainees have said they've gone through. So this is one of those situations where the controversy, the scandal is actually going to draw more attention onto the Trump administration's effort to deport these migrants to this very hostile prison where some men say they've been tortured.
Yeah. All right. So tell us.
I'm not like a constitutional scholar. Isn't like cruel and unusual punishment like unconstitutional? Is that not cruel? I mean, I don't know how the actual statutory authority there would work, or if that's even like a case you could bring to court, but how is that not cruel and unusual punishment to send someone to fucking CCOT just for what?
Thousands of MAGA faithful turned out over the weekend for Turning Point USA's annual America Fest Summit. And it may indeed have been a turning point for the MAGA movement. Because while they are united in their loyalty to President Trump, different factions of the coalition were fighting for influence amid a brewing fight on the right over how to handle anti-Semites and conspiracy theorists who consider themselves part of the movement. Vice President Vance tried to bridge those divides in his speech without explicitly condemning anyone on the right.
President Trump did not build the greatest coalition in politics by running.
Oh, this was so funny when J.D. Vance called out Ben Shapiro low-key. He threw a sneak diss at Ben.
President Trump did not build the greatest coalition in politics by running his supporters through endless, self-defeating purity tests. I didn't bring a list of conservatives to denounce or to deplatform. I know some of you are discouraged by the infighting over any number of issues. Don't be discouraged. Wouldn't you rather lead a movement of free thinkers who sometimes disagree than a bunch of drones who take their orders from George Soros?
While Vance did not take a side, two other loud voices in the conservative movement did.
The conservative movement is also in danger from charlatans who claim to speak in the name of principle, but actually traffic in conspiracism and dishonesty.
Charlatans like Ben Shapiro, by the way, who did a whole fucking tour endorsing Trump last year. Don't forget.
Believe that Hitler was pretty cool. You have no place in the future of the conservative movement. If you call Usha Vance, the second lady of the United States of America, a cheat, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement.
A lot of people in that audience not clapping. A lot of people not clapping.
And if you can't say those things without stuttering, then you have no place as a leader.
I'm joined now by a terrific group of reporters. Good to see you all on this Monday afternoon. It is Monday, right? It is Monday. Yes, it is. Okay, just confirming that.
Nate Ketchum 8. Calling Nate Ketchum 8 to aisle 5. Are you in the guest request to debate?
Jeff, you've been covering this conference that's been playing out. Really this fascinating debate that's been going on publicly. What do you make of the way that J.D. Vance, as he came in here in this speech to this audience, didn't say what Vivek Ramaswamy said, didn't say what others on the right have said, like Ben Shapiro, very much made it clear that he was not going to condemn any of these factions within his party. What does that say about the way he's positioning himself as he heads into a potential 2028 run?
He's treading very carefully, intentionally. Really struck there listening to Vivek Ramaswamy defending Usha Vance much more than Vice President Vance did in his own speech. Now, Vice President Vance has defended his wife and spoken out in some
Oh, I was talking to David about this the other day. Someone just said, how come the left doesn't have a Young Democrats festival or movement at all? We need one. You know what we need? We need a charity boxing match, like a political card. And you could even do a cool thing where it's like one round of debate and then one round of boxing. And you just keep, that would be so cool. And you could have such a stacked card, bro. Raise the money for charity or something. I would love that. That'd be so fun.
But not on stage there. So
yeah,
I
was
thought
at a
that
podcast he did that at a different setting.
Exactly, on Friday in a podcast that did not have that attention. But look, I mean, what we're seeing here is Vice President Vance making.
Remember when Charlie Kirk said Nicki Minaj is a bad influence and now Nicki Minaj is on Turning Point? Yeah. What was that? I saw a clip of that and I was very disturbed. You want to debate, Nate? Okay. I got a dip in like 20-ish minutes, so we'll wrap it up with this debate with Mr. Nate, and then we'll call it a night. Hey, how old are you?
I'm 19.
And you support Trump?
Yeah, more than Kamala. Like Kamala's policies and Trump's policies were economic standpoint, yeah, I support Trump more.
You want to talk about the economic standpoint then? You think Trump has better economic policy than Kamala Harris did?
Well, just because I felt like, well, it's kind of a known fact, Democrats are more progressive, try to do more subsidies. I don't believe in subsidies.
Why?
I believe in some subsidies, but how many subsidies she was having is bad for the economy.
What subsidies of Kamala Harris's did you think were going too far or not optimal? I don't think she really ran on specific subsidies.
Let me think.
Or is there something of Trump's economic policy that you actually like? I mean, he's been president now for 11 months, so is there anything there?
I mean, the inflation's been down.
No.
2.7.
Inflation.
I mean,
inflation.
Joe Biden.
Goods inflation is trending up after a long trend of disinflation. In fact, the economic trend right now is supposed to be disinflation, which is why services are getting cheaper, but goods are getting more expensive specifically because of the tariffs.
Yeah, I mean, but you can see the market's starting to level out now.
Oh, the stock market. I'm sure if you're wealthy, the stock market's doing great. I'm talking about consumer prices for goods, right? In the absence of these tariffs, goods would just be cheaper. That's just like a matter of fact.
I mean, you're talking about tariffs, but what about the taxes on corporations that she advocated for? Higher
Yeah,
taxes on
why shouldn't
that
we
would cause
tax
prices
corporations?
going up.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it would. Because if you tax higher corporations, guess what happens when you tax higher corporations? What are the
I know this
corporations?
talking point, but it's not true because corporate
It is
taxes
true.
corporate taxes apply to corporate profits, not revenue. So the profits are going to be
Yeah,
whatever
but if
is
they're
left
not
over.
making enough marginal profit, they're gonna raise their profits more.
Okay.
Okay, how do they
businesses are always businesses are always
how do
trying
they
to raise
their profits?
businesses
How do they
are
raise their profits?
businesses are always trying to
They-
maximize profits no
They
matter
make
what
minimum. They make minimum wage.
businesses
they
are
make minimum.
businesses are always trying to maximize profit regardless
Okay,
of what
but
the
if you-
corporate tax rate is.
If the corporate tax rate is higher, they're gonna have to go higher than before to make more marginal gain.
Not necessarily, no.
Every corporation that's big is gonna do that, 100%.
Not necessarily, no. I mean, what you saw when Trump actually cut the corporate tax rate from 35% down to, was it 20-something percent? When all you saw is like we lost a bunch of revenue, and those corporations, they didn't use that extra profit to pay their workers more or invest in capital. They used almost all of it on stock buybacks, which is fine. You can do stock buybacks, but it's not a better use of the money.
They didn't give back to the people because we were already in tariffs. That's why he did it. Because that's
What
why.
are you saying?
Okay, so when we raise tariffs, who gets taxed? Obviously, the corporations get taxed.
the
they have to
consumer and the
raise their
worker.
prices. Yeah. Obviously, it trickles down to the consumer.
Mhm.
But I'm saying, okay, if you cut down corporation taxes and you do tariffs, then it levels out. They don't have to.
It makes a lot more sense to do corporate taxes with no tariffs than tariffs with no corporate taxes. Because tariffs actually are a tax on revenue. They actually do increase your production costs.
Wait, say it again.
Tariffs actually are a tax that affect your revenue. They affect your actual costs, right? Your cost of materials, when 1/3 of materials that are used in American production are imported, when you tariff those things, American producers are now paying more for their materials. So actually, corporate taxes make a lot more sense than tariffs do if you want to capture revenue from corporations.
So you think corporate taxes they wouldn't lower the wages, cut off workers, and what is it called? Make their
As much as
prices
tariffs?
go up. I mean, they haven't done it. They bit the tariff. They haven't raised their prices.
Yes, they have.
Only the tariffs have raised. They didn't raise their prices more. The tariffs haven't raised the prices that
No,
much.
the again, you can watch Jerome Powell speaking on this.
Inflation.
Goods inflation is increasing, and while you see disinflation with services, the reason you have goods and services inflation moving in different directions is because of Trump's tariffs specifically. And again, if you're going to bring up the argument that corporate taxes, if you raise them, it's going to negatively affect consumers and workers, they're going to pay workers less, or they're going to make less stuff, or they're going to raise prices, that is a million times more true with tariffs than it is with corporate taxes.
If anything, it's the exact same.
No, it's literally not though. Because again, corporate taxes are on profits, tariffs raise your production costs. Tariffs actually change the contracts you sign for materials, especially when
Corporate
they're variable.
corporate taxes would make productivity go down probably more than tariffs.
No, because what is actually being done with that corporate tax revenue by the government? That's going to boost GDP.
So do tariffs.
How do tariffs boost GDP?
Because there's more productivity in America, so it's
Well, no, I just explained to you that 1/3 of
tariffs make
materials,
GDP go
1/3
up.
of materials that are used to build stuff in America are imported materials. If you put tariffs on those materials, then you just made it more expensive to make stuff in America.
Okay, but it still goes to the GDP
How does it go to the GDP?
because when
prices go up
tar-
and consumer spending goes down, how would that not reduce the C part of GDP equation? Because GDP is consumer spending plus investment plus government spending plus net exports.
I think I got mixed up. I meant net exports because our tariffs are on China and stuff.
Sure, so if we're importing less stuff, then I guess our net exports are going to go up, but then that's going to be
I
counteracted.
mean, I see tariffs be better. I mean, obviously there's less workers, but you got to take into account that AI. I mean, a lot of the jobs are getting lost because of AI.
Shouldn't we
didn't have to
regulate AI
do
more
with
heavily
AI.
then, unlike the Trump administration that's actively pushing to
No,
deregulate
I don't
AI?
think so. No, because is China regulating AI? No.
China regulates
Is-
everything. Everything goes by the state. The
Well,
state runs
obviously,
everything.
okay, yeah. They're regulating it, but they're not actually regulating because they're an authoritarian country with a capitalist
Well, Trump
kind
is
of
also an
capitalist.
authoritarian president.
No, he's not.
He is.
No, he's not.
He is. Can you name one other president in modern American history who's put someone in handcuffs for expressing an opinion?
Who did he put in handcuffs for expressing an opinion?
Mahmoud Khalil, Ramesa Ozturk. Those are just two of the names. There's dozens.
I didn't even. What happened?
They protested against Israel and they were put in handcuffs, and then a Reagan-appointed judge ruled that the Trump administration was violating their free speech rights, specifically to create a culture of fear.
Wait, so you're econ major?
Yeah.
So when Kamala was advocating for making the minimum wage go to $15, like, don't you think that's kind of pointless?
Do I think it's kind of pointless?
Yeah.
How would that be pointless?
Oh, wait, so you're an econ major, but you agree with subsidies when the economy's doing good?
Plenty of people who study economics agree with subsidies. It depends on what you're subsidizing.
I mean, a lot of economists think subsidies are bad when the economy's doing good. There's no when you have
That's
subsidies.
not true. I think you're talking about fiscal spending. You're talking about stimulus is bad when the economy is doing good, whether that's government spending or tax increases. Subsidies can be done for many reasons other than stimulus. Subsidies can be done to invigorate certain sectors for national security reasons, like the CHIPS Act, for example, right? The reason you want to subsidize chips is not to boost the economy, it's to actually produce more chips in America, and you need public sector investment to incentivize that.
Subsidies, what is it called? Subsidies make the productivity go down, though.
No one who studies economics
Okay,
speaks
so
about
when- so when-
subsidies in
so
such
when she
black
has
and white
housing
general
subsidies-
terms.
When she has housing subsidies, the down payment,
Yeah.
like,
But
what is
she
it called?
what is she pairing that with though?
What is it called? The 20, I forget. What is she pairing it with?
Increasing
Tell me.
housing supply, right?
Yeah,
Which is
but
like the big thing we need to do with housing. Anyone who studies economics will tell you we need to just build more houses, like number one.
yeah, but I mean, if we build more houses, but what about the demand? There's not a demand. There's housing shortages.
Sure.
Because of what is it
The
called?
supply is limited.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Kamala, a lot of her policies would have made inflation also bad. I mean, Joe Biden,
Tariffs.
the housing-
What policy from Kamala Harris would have done more to raise prices than Trump's tariffs?
I mean, what is it called? The minimum wage would have made inflation go up.
How?
Made prices go up. I mean, obviously it would make prices go up. When you're getting paid more, they're going to make the prices more.
Not necessarily. A lot of these big businesses actually can absorb these types of costs. I mean, the big worry with
But
minimum wage
they
increases is
I
small
mean-
businesses.
I mean, a lot of the Democrats advocate for smaller businesses and say Trump's hurting the smaller
Yeah,
businesses.
Kamala
because-
Harris advocated to
Okay, but
expand the
if you
small
make
business tax
minimum
credit to
wage-
$50,000.
But if you make minimum wage $15, what happens with the smaller businesses? Oh, they have to
now
cut work.
They now have a $50,000 tax credit, and they could receive subsidies as well. And anytime you're raising the minimum wage, you always have to weigh the pros versus the cons. There are definitely certain economic costs to raising the minimum wage. The question is it a net benefit or is it a net loss? And actually, I think the best way to address this, which is what Biden did, is to strengthen American unions. Unions, I think, are a much better way to raise wages than a minimum wage increase. But also, a minimum wage increase is not necessarily a bad thing. It depends on how it's done. And again, you're speaking in very general terms. Economists don't like subsidies. Economists don't like minimum wage. Well, no. Economists
the
have.
housing subsidies, they
Hold on.
don't
Let me
agree
just
with-
finish.
I'm
Let me just
al- I'm
finish.
almost-
Let me just finish.
Okay.
Economists have different opinions on different subsidies and different minimum wage increases depending on the sector and the actual subsidy. Economists
You
don't
already
have
agree, though?
broad-based views on subsidies in general. Which subsidy? Why? Where? That's the actual
Okay.
question.
I'll get into which subsidy, but do you agree that we already have a lot of subsidies as it is, Medicare and all that? Do you agree we already ACAs and all that?
Medicare is not really a subsidy. ACA
It
is.
is a subsidy.
ACA is, sure.
But do you agree that we already have a lot of subsidies as
Sure,
it is?
and a lot of them are good.
Okay, but when
Well,
you
what does a lot of subsidies mean though? A lot compared to what?
compared to other countries?
Compared to like Scandinavian countries and Western
No,
European countries?
compared to like
Compared to other G7
uh,
countries?
yeah, compared to like like the other countries that are built.
No,
You know,
which
forget
other
the word.
countries in the G7 do we have a more expansive welfare state and subsidy program than? Germany has more, the UK has more, Canada has more, Sweden, Norway, Denmark all have more, way more social spending as a
I think
percentage of GDP.
Austria, Australia, right?
You know Australia has a higher minimum wage?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, these are all progressive countries with strong social welfare states.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Progressive.
Yeah, and those countries, in a lot of ways, I mean, they have more people who have access to health insurance because they have single payer or multi-payer of some kind. That's a good thing. I think we move closer to that under Kamala Harris.
I think a lot of her policies would have at least raised inflation. I guess how she did it. I mean,
Her
what is
policies
it
would have
called?
raised wages.
Yeah, but when you wage, I mean,
When you raise
when you
wages,
raise-
prices can go up. The question is, does the rise in wages, is it higher
it
than the
just
rise
sta-
in prices?
I mean, most of the time it is. Didn't
Okay.
Kennedy do that? Or, and what is it called? Didn't she advocate for student loan forgiveness, and then what else she advocate for? Easier to get into college, right?
Well, no, I think
I'm
she
more of a
advocates for like tuition-free public university.
Okay.
That doesn't make it easier to get in.
I'm Ronald Reagan is somebody like I thought he was a good president. A lot of people didn't agree with him.
Do you like his
but
amnesty?
I agree with him. Huh?
Do you like his mass amnesty?
No.
Okay, continue.
What is it called? I agree with Ronald Reagan about you should make getting into college harder. That's why you see the job market so bad. I mean,
You want to
college
make it
is
harder
so
to get into college
overpaid
instead
now.
of making it easier and giving people the skills to do well in college?
You get more people into college. It gets a surplus and not enough demand. I mean, it's just common sense.
No, it's not.
You
because
make
what sector are you talking about? Surplus of what?
every sector. Okay, so if you
You
get
don't
a
think there are any sectors where there's not enough labor right now?
I mean, maybe
Like the medical
labor where
field?
there's not- huh?
Like the medical field?
I mean, the medical.
Don't we have a
field, that's
healthcare
like-
worker shortage
Not compared to other countries.
compared to what we
countries
need
that-
in America? Don't
I
we
mean,
not have enough healthcare
compare-
workers? Isn't that
okay,
why healthcare is so
that's
expensive?
actually that's very stupid that you just said that
Really?
actually, because compared to other countries that have free healthcare, we don't have a shortage compared to them. If we had free healthcare,
we literally
if
have
we had free
artificial
healthcare-
caps. We literally have artificial caps on residency that limits the supply of doctors.
Okay, if we what's it called?
And
if we
are
had
you are you aware that that's going to raise healthcare prices? I mean, a lot of the healthcare price issues in America are not just insurance; it's actually providers that charge a lot.
say it again.
A lot of the healthcare crisis in America is not just insurance companies; it's the fact that we have such a limit on the supply of doctors that they have a lot more bargaining power. They can raise prices a lot.
Okay,
The
I
actual
mean,
cost of
I'm not
care is higher in the
denying that
US.
there's a shortage in doctors,
Okay.
but I can't deny that making healthcare more affordable would it make the shortage go up more, right?
Why would it make the shortage go up more?
Because you make healthcare more affordable. What is it called?
While increasing
There's too much
supply.
demand for supply. I mean, there's never gonna
Well, hold
be
on. Healthcare
even if
demand
you
is
make-
pretty inelastic.
Say it again.
Healthcare demand is pretty inelastic. I don't know if we're going to see massive jumps in demand for healthcare based on pricing. People, I
Yeah,
mean,
you
it's
would.
the number one
Because
cause of
guess what?
it's the number
People
one
aren't
cause
gonna
of
go to the
bankruptcy.
doctor right now.
Medical
Listen,
debt is the
people aren't-
number one cause of bankruptcy in the United States. People are
Okay.
going to get healthcare whether or not it's expensive because they need it to live.
I'm surprised you're an econ major because a lot of economists disagree with everything you're
Have
saying.
you studied economics?
I mean, I'm studying it right now.
Okay, and you don't understand that healthcare has
I'm
inelastic
minoring
demand?
in it. Huh?
You don't understand that healthcare has inelastic demand?
No, I get it does, but
And
what
when
is it
demand
called?
is inelastic, don't we want to try to lower prices through the public sector because actually the standard supply and demand market forces are not going to work there in the same way? I mean,
It might have, but it also,
I don't know if you
it
think that
still
most
will.
economists believe in like the hand of the free market. That's not real. If you study economics in any college, they're talking all the time about how to best have the public sector be involved.
I mean,
Because
who's that one
markets
who's
are not
that one
efficient.
famous
You understand that,
economist
right?
From, who's that one famous
Do you understand
economist
that
from
markets are not
Germany?
efficient in a vacuum? Like not,
They can
not,
be.
not they can be, sure, with super elastic consumer goods they can be, but not all markets clear. Sometimes you have disproportionate concentration of market power. You have first mover advantage. You can have predatory pricing when you have economies of scale. There are so many places where the economy is inefficient, and you need the public sector to step in.
Okay, so then I'll ask you then, why are there, if you're saying it can be inelastic, but it also, I mean, it can be what I'm advocating for.
What are you
I'm
advocating
saying
for?
right now. What I'm saying right now is you see Canada, there are shortages in doctors. Not that there's less doctors, but there's more demand than there are doctors.
The issue in Canada is you need to pay their healthcare providers more. That's a payout problem, right?
But even if they did, okay, Sweden does that.
Okay.
And they still have, and
Do
they
you know
still
the-
have.
Do you know the
shortages
quality of
doctors?
life in Sweden? Isn't it like the happiest country on the planet?
Well, it's also a small population. I feel
Okay.
like that has a factor for it.
Well, you can just
A
scale.
larger
Can't you just scale up that system in accordance with having a bigger population?
Probably, but did they? I don't know. Have they?
Well, no, I'm saying America. We can learn things from smaller countries and scale them up. That's fine. We can do that.
I mean,
better.
you can learn things from smaller countries, but some things won't apply to a
Sure,
country
but
like ours.
single-payer
compared to,
healthcare would
you know,
apply. It would be a much better system than what we have now. And
But
again,
I also can
if
see
you
it
study
being bad
economics, you
because
should
of
know
us.
that single-payer is the most efficient way economically to do healthcare. Actually, that competition doesn't work in health insurance.
Competition does work in health insurance.
No, because then you splinter the risk pool.
Okay,
That's actually
okay.
counterintuitive.
But-
Why would we want to splinter
but
the risk pool?
my thing is, yeah, you could do that. That could happen. But my thing is, you make it more affordable. What happens with the innovation of drugs?
That's going to be based on the payouts to drug companies, not based on how much it
Yeah,
costs the
but
consumer.
when they're gonna get, obviously the hospitals are gonna be making
You
less money.
understand that in a
But
single-payer
are
system,
the hospitals gonna be making less
you
money?
understand that in a
But
single-payer
are the
system,
hospitals gonna make less money?
you understand that in a
Yes or no?
single-payer system, the government can pay high reimbursement rates to healthcare providers and
Oh,
still
but I
offer
thought the
offer
Democrats
low-cost
were for-
insurance to people, and then just eat the deficit that it gets from that, right?
But I thought Democrats weren't for spending towards the national debt.
Democrats weren't for what?
They don't. All they say about Trump is how he's been spending. I mean, he's been raising the
Yeah,
national
because
debt.
Democrats want to actually spend on things that boost GDP and improve our debt to GDP ratio. If you're going to spend money on a deficit, you better be spending on something that's actually an investment that brings a return. Trump isn't doing that, right? Corporate tax, I mean, if you want to talk economics, corporate tax cuts have a multiplier of 0.2. Infrastructure has a multiplier of over 2x in some cases. I mean, if you're going to run a deficit, you better be spending on things that are actually productive
But
for
lowering
GDP.
lowering corporate taxes can help productivity.
It has,
Yeah,
a
it can.
it has a multiplier of 0.2. So, I mean, it's comparatively one of the worst ways to boost the economy is cut corporate taxes. On the upper end, you have a multiplier of maybe 0.4, which is for every dollar you spend on corporate tax cuts, you maybe best case scenario get 40 cents of economic growth. Versus for every $1 you spend on something like infrastructure, you get $2 or $3 of economic growth. So there's an obvious opportunity cost there in choosing to run deficits for corporate tax cuts rather than running them for actual infrastructure bills or healthcare.
I'll get back to that, but I want to say one more thing about like the manufacturing.
I'm
with the
sorry,
tariff
I have
tools.
plans. I'm running a little bit late. I got a dip. My car's already started. I had to heat it up. Thank you everyone for watching the live today. If you enjoyed, make sure you follow up above, subscribe on YouTube as well. And yeah, everyone have a good night. We're going to try to go live again tomorrow. And tune in tomorrow on Gabble. Everyone here, all 96 of you, as soon as this live ends, you're going to go to the App Store. You're going to type in Gabble Gamifying Debate. You're going to download Gabble. Go to my Instagram story in the link tree in my bio. Look at that story post on there. And tune in tomorrow at 6 p.m. for my debate. Have a good night, everyone.